not my buddy.
Welcome to Surface Noise, the A-side.
Get a load of that. Is that the best free production value in the vinyl community? I think so.
I like that A-side thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a new little twist because I think Spins really brought a little technical acumen to the presentation, at least what I saw last week.
Why do you get the A-side?
Well, I just, like we talked about before, like I would love to do it every week. I just can't. And so when I was recruiting Jason, like, hey, do you want to do this? Because I would like to do it weekly. Other people say, hey, can you do this weekly? The A-side, B-side concept just felt like something to be different. You know what I mean? Like a record, corny, waka, waka, waka. Okay. So, yeah.
Sometimes the B-side is better than the A-side.
Agreed. And I even said, Jason, if you want to be the A-side, like I was like, look, I'm very open to the concept. Like if you want me to be B-side, I really don't matter. And he's like, no, we'll keep it going. So. Anywho, welcome everyone. The room is filling up. I am in the bowels of the Rhino warehouse. I am working feverishly to get you the Black Sabbath reissues you either did or didn't order to ship or not ship. So please excuse me while I'm working through some shit, as they like to say. But do you want to say hello to some folks as we kind of start getting in here? Caesar, first one here. We have to pay homage to Caesar being the first one here. Now it's possible you typed that and then went to the toilet room and you're not here right now, but I do have to give credit for being the first one in the room. Leland actually extended me a wonderful opportunity. I am a moderator, apparently, of the Rhino fan club page on Facebook, and I think it was Leland's doing. So, this is another unpaid position. Because now I get these like when people want to join the page, I get alerts, and it's interesting to see who's joining. But Leland, thank you for the opportunity. I don't know how long I will be a moderator on this vessel, but I appreciate it. Nick, Fantasy Island. Have you guys ever been to Fantasy Island?
No.
It's great. It's full of nice humans, bikini clad men and women, and good music.
It's filled with cut creased corners of Sabbath Rhino reissues. Thanks to this guy working at the warehouse trying to. Hey, listen. Costs.
I mean, you don't play the jackets, right? You play the records. Is that? That's what they tell us in the meetings. They tell us in the meetings. Listen, we've got it. These are widgets. We've got to hit the quotas. So just throw them. We'll use different boxes. Bring your boxes from home. That's what they told us. Team, man. We're out of boxes. Bring your mailers from home. We don't care if there's holes in them. They're giant. We'll make it work. So good stuff. Oh, Nick says, Chance, good idea with that conduct agreement. Hope it's successful. Yeah, right. We'll see how that works. All right. Who else we got here? All right. Let's be on our good behavior. This is going to be a fun and productive stream, so I want no mischief. I'm just going to say it to everyone and anyone because we don't want to have any nonsense going on. But you do ask a fair question. I was at the James Taylor concert last week. And I was telling Arnaldo that was probably about 5 years too late to see, I wouldn't say vintage James Taylor, but it was definitely James Taylor, his body, his vessel, and sometimes his voice. But, the musicians that I think, I forgot, I think it might have been old badge there. It said that the musicians are really good, and they were. Who was the drummer? Jason might know this one. Steve Burt, is that a name? No, somebody help me on the comment. The drummer I had heard before. I think he's a famous session drummer. Anyway, when they said James Taylor and his All Stars, legit. The All Stars were All Stars, and James Taylor was Steve Gadd. Thank you, Steve Gadd.
Oh wow, Steve Gadd is touring with him.
Yeah. So again, I'm not the I wouldn't say the no names, but the folks who aren't of the lead variety. But yeah, Steve Gadd was legit. And I'd heard that name passing. So, again, shout out to Mr. Badge. All right, who else is here? Oh, hang on. Leland. See, Leland giveth and taketh away. He says, come on, Chance. Get those unnumbered copies of Sabbath out.
Yeah.
Listen, we're violating labor laws here at the Rhino factory in the warehouse, so I really don't want to And we're in California, so there's a lot of oversight. A lot of oversight.
Leland is wrong. I mean, Chance has like 5001 and up. Okay, so
Exactly.
5010, right?
Exactly.
Can I drop a bombshell?
Please.
Do we have a sound effect for this?
So
I bet you we do. But go ahead, Arnaldo. I'll catch you in late.
Okay.
I pulled a trick on after I placed my initial order for Sabbath. I ordered another copy when they were about to finish, along with Devo and Miles Davis. Got a shipping notification last week for Miles Davis and Devo. They arrived. Have a little issue with Devo. Well, we can talk about that later.
Sure.
But then I got a back order notification for the Sabbath.
Heard about this.
Yeah, it's going around. It's like
Oh, really?
Going around. Yeah, I've seen it in a couple of different places. Those people's orders got stunted apparently because of that. Yeah. How's that make you feel, Arnaldo, as a consumer?
I don't know. Let's see. The customer service was following up with the warehouse. So you're in the warehouse. You probably can tell us what's going on.
Phone is ringing off the hook, but no one's answering, Arnaldo. I mean, seriously, it's the longest piss break of all time. I got to be honest with you.
What are you talking? Phone's ringing off the hook? No. The phone is off the hook.
Off the hook.
Oh, sorry, yes.
They got tired of the ringing. It's done.
Concert Buddy, get it right. Get it right.
Industry secrets. All right. Well, this is Surface Noise. I appreciate everyone filling the room. We got some familiar faces on the dais, in the chat. Minimal nonsense. I already see some coming in, but I appreciate everyone helping weed the field, so to speak. Concert Buddy at the ones and twos. Doing the A-side, B-side thing, hopefully bringing the Surface Noise presentation weekly. So this is my turn at the controls. Obviously, Jason from Spins Vinyl did a really nice job. Some people reached out to me afterwards and said he did a nice job. So appreciate it. He'll be back next week, and we're just going to do the every other week thing. So you're stuck with me this week. I know that all my haters are drinking a tall glass of Clorox. I hope it tastes good going down because I'm here. I'm there, and I'm everywhere. So sip, bottoms up. Joining me, a couple familiar faces and an almost familiar face. We'll get to it. But first, Mr. Punctual, the guy who's here almost as early as I am. It's Arnaldo, the channel. If you don't know, and why wouldn't you know? It's on you. Fidelius_frequency. Arnaldo, what's the good word, sir?
Good word was I was actually late today.
Late by your standards.
Late by my standards, and lo and behold, I'm the only guy there, along with Concert Buddy. So, thanks for having me again, and thank you, John and Jason, for making me still the first one to show up backstage.
We do what we can for you.
Good stuff. And then another familiar face, probably one of the sexiest walls of records out there. I'm not even going to say vinyl community. It's a very polarizing word right now. Just out there. And that is Jason Rojas. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Concert Buddy. Thanks for, getting me on. I tried to get all the Sabbath Rhino reissues on the back, but they were unfortunately back order, or the covers were too creased to put up in the back. So,
Is it normal to manufacturer with dings? I think that's going to be the next story. That's the way we got them.
Right, just accept it, right, and then move on, right?
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about that in the coming minutes. So stay tuned, all you fly boys and fly girls. And then, as I was telling them before we started, like SNL has that 5 timers club, of hosts who have been on the show 5. They give them a jacket. This is a real deal. They give them a jacket. It's like Tom Hank, because Tom Hanks is kind of a myth. Hanks is plural of Hank. It's Tom Hank. And then you've got like Martin Short and some of these other dignitaries. So in a similar vein, he's almost there. We'll call it 5 times, and you'll probably get there first. This is the channel Music Talk with John. John is with us. John, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
it. Always. And John, we want to promote your other. You call it in your byline there, aka Mr. Walk and Talk. Why is that? Inform our viewers.
Because I like to walk and talk at night with a selfie stick. It's a problem that I have. and I get accosted and things happen, and it's not nice. But yeah, that's what I do. That channel's kind of on a little hiatus. I've kind of calmed that one down, but I still walk around with a selfie stick.
Fair enough.
People, why? I don't know if you saw the video. Some kid on a bike flew by and flicked me off. It was awesome. And I didn't see it until I was editing. I'm like, you mother, I knew who the kid is. I'm like, waiting.
Oh.
So.
That reminds me of, have you guys, so this is going to be nerd talk. Hulk Hogan, the great actor, he made a fine movie called, I believe it was Suburban Commando. It's either Suburban Commando or Mr. Nanny, one of those two fine motion pictures. And there's a scene where he's on the motorcycle. It's like a side scene, like they're filming him sideways. And there's literally a guy who's in the background who has his dog at like the opening of like a lake or like a pond. And he literally throws his dog into the body of water. It's on YouTube. Find it. It's one of those like they didn't catch it in post-production kind of things. It's worth the squeeze. Trust me.
Check that out. That's pretty funny. It's sometimes it happen around you that you, especially during a live one. I try to stay away from the live because you don't want some things getting caught. But
that's a good move. Mr. Nanny. Yes. Kendall is coming in clutch. It's Mr. Nanny. See, I knew it was one of those fine motion pictures. Mr. Nanny is one. Hang on. There he is. Boom.
they're actually in the film. Is that?
Yeah, it made the final cut. It did. It was one of those things. Again, you probably had so much time to film the immortal Hulk Hogan on a big chopper, big Harley. And there he is, just side by side, and then literally here's this guy tossing his dog into this lake. Like Google it. Not making it up.
Was he wearing it?
Are you talking about Rhino customer service? I'm confused here.
I was trying. Yes, Jason's reading the room. He's making the analogy.
Right.
Of throwing your dog in a lake to Rhino customer service.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right, I've jibber jabbered enough. Let's get into the topics at hand. Let's talk about the first topic for this portion of the presentation is an interesting one. Let me get Mr. Nanny off the screen. Kendall, thank you for coming in clutch on that one. His channel is Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem, by the way. Check it out. All right, first topic. Easiest $20 or less record you'd recommend. And I mean this, and this is the origin of this is these price increases suck. I think we can all agree, especially on new vinyl. But you can still find some diamonds in the rough if you know where to go and that sort of thing. So it could be something, I'll even open it up in case this helps. Maybe something that's always in the bins is a used variety, right? That's always $20, easy breezy, cover girl. So Arnaldo, do you have a record out there that you can let our fine viewership in on a secret of you should go get it and it's $20-ish?
Well, I think this one actually, let me pull it out here. I've seen for less than $20. And if you don't have this, I think everybody should have this. Human League's Dare. This is a blueprint of synth pop, electronic music, 80s. I mean, everybody knows
Sure.
Don't You Want Me, right?
Yes.
Probably some people got sick of it. But probably there's better songs on this album than Don't You Want Me. Don't You Want Me was like the catchiest song off here, the hit single. But Love Action, one of my favorite songs on here. And then there's darker songs as well. So it's not all chipper dance pop on here. This is where they broke the mold. The Human League used to be a lot less commercial, more kind of like, let's just say a step above Kraftwerk in terms of poppiness for the first two albums. Then two members left and Phil Oakey was left with the other guy. And he decided that he wanted to bring the group in a different direction, hired the two girls that sang backup, and a new Human League was born. And Dare is considered by some their masterpiece or their best album. I actually really loved the album that came after this, which was Hysteria. But yeah, this, less than $20 if you don't have it.
I like it. And are you just flexing that's a gold stamp promo? Are you just letting us know how you get down?
Well, here's a conundrum. So you see the promo stamp here.
Yes.
What do you see here?
CRC.
So how does that make sense? Can anyone shed light on this? Is this a promo of a Columbia House. Where is it? Right here. Columbia House
Right there. Bam.
copy, or I don't know. Maybe it can't be I don't know. Someone can answer this question. Did Columbia House have promo records?
Yes, let us know. We need smarter people than myself on that one. I'm off the shift at Rhino, so I'm sorry. We had another long day of no ships and no label printing. So I'm just glad to be off the clock because those labor laws in California are the pits. So took off my safety vest. I'm ready to play. And my mouse is not working. That's a delight. All right. Thank you, Ronaldo. Jason Rojas, what is your?
Well, it's curious. Do all three of you have that record?
Yes.
I believe I have a copy in the deep annals of my collection.
I don't, but I do like that.
Take a drink, John. You gotta take a drink if you don't have the record.
Got to be a big mug.
Bottoms up. Bottoms up. No Clorox. You're in the non-Clorox crew. That's just for the haters. All right, Jason Rojas. Do you have a record, $20 ish or less, that you could recommend to the audience that they're doing themselves a disservice?
I had to get it. It was like over there.
All right, here we go.
So I'm not sure if I'm prepared. But came out in 1983, but you can get the reissue from Jackpot Records. This is the Wipers Over the Edge. Let me see if I can show it. So I would say this is like punk rock. I don't know, maybe more post-punk in a way.
Okay.
This is basically Greg Sage. I think they're from Portland, Oregon. Let me know if I'm wrong about this, but this is that reissue that came out, I would say, 2022. Again, you can get this for about $20 or even less. And I believe it's 2 LPs. One of them is the full length, and then the other one is side 3 with the alternate tracks. But again, if you really like post-punk or punk music, this is one of the best. I believe the Wipers, this is one of Kurt Cobain's favorite bands.
Oh. It's a good endorsement. All right.
Writing it down.
Yeah, at least give it a spin, stream it.
Sample it through streaming. Yeah, John, I don't want to put you in financial arrears after this show. I know
Thank you.
it happens sometimes because we are influencers, like it or not.
Can you, Concert Buddy, can you highlight Leland's comment?
Hang on. So this one here?
Oh, jeez. No.
Hang on. This one here?
No. The latest one.
Leland's on fire. Hang on a second. New comments.
He's trying to. There we go.
So yeah, Leland says, is Jason saying he likes a Kevin Gray reissue?
That is true. This is the Kevin Gray reissue.
Wow.
But I mean, pretty good for like $20. I bought this used for $20. So it's cool.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure you can get it new for less.
Oh my God, new for less?
Unbelievable. I think we just made history. No, listen, jokes aside, there's some Kevin Gray stuff we've talked about. You like the Meters reissues that he did for Jackpot, right? I mean, there are things like.
Yeah, they're okay. I didn't need them, so I sold them. I flipped it. So.
Oh, no. We just got to flush that down to John. I can't believe it. Terrible. What is happening? Listen, anyway. All right. Well, Leland, way to point that out. He does say there is hope for Jason.
I know. Thoughts and prayers my way. VC thoughts and prayers, please.
T's and P's. T's and P's. Oh, that's funny. All right, John.
Yeah.
Up to the mic. Do you have a recommendation of a record for about $20? It can be used. I mean, something you see on the reg. Because I know your local stores, Kingfish Records, shout out, and you do a lot of content with them about weekly releases, a little behind the scenes stuff. They probably did they give you a key to the employee restroom at this point, or what's the deal?
I do. Yeah, I have a key. Well, I know where the key is held. It's kind of like the Mayberry.
Like on a hook with a big stick.
Back office. You just grab the hook and
Excellent. All right. So
not to flush because it's run by men. If you flush, you're breaking the cardinal rule.
Yikes.
You do not flush. So, yeah. Well, I couldn't decide. I had 3, but I'm gonna.
Hey, listen. We've got the time. If you've got the dime, sir.
Well, the third one's really the important one, but I don't know how this got in my collection. I had to show off.
Marks. Oh, it's like Surrender or something? What's that one?
was the first one. No, was it?
Oh, self-titled.
Should have known better. I mean, come
Should
on.
have known better. Oh man.
I'm like, I can do better than this. So I was like, okay, I can do better.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, and what's an appearance with me without an appearance of him?
Who is that for our visually impaired folks?
This would be Mr. William Joel, right?
William
here.
Joel. All right, new artist. Okay, yeah.
Glass Houses, great album. Look at this, 19. What's that? 1898. And now they're saying it's sealed first pressing. Do I believe that? How do you know? How do they know?
If there's a barcode on the back.
There's a barcode, but it was 1980, so there could have been a barcode. So I don't know.
No. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Like Elvis Costello record was the first ever to have the barcode in like 78, but they were kind of intermittent about like my 1980.
Yeah, as far as I know, these are legit with a barcode. So I don't know if I have a first pressing, but whatever. But no, the one I really want to show, because he doesn't get enough love, is Ray Charles. This album, Yes Indeed. You can get it. Even this one, it was a reissue, and I got it for like $15 or something like that. He just doesn't get enough love in the vinyl community.
So is that something that has like the big hits like Georgia on My Mind and that stuff, or what?
Well, this is much earlier. This is What Would I Do Without You? It's All Right. You might know that one.
Sure.
I Want to Know. The song Yes Indeed, the title track, is amazing. It's just Ray Charles at his best. He does like even Swanee River Rock, that song, which is not cool. He made it cool. He made it cool. I Want a Little Girls on Here is another one that's big. So that's a good one. You can find it under $20, and I definitely recommend that. Any of his early stuff. This is probably like around his second or third album, I think. So yeah, Ray Charles.
Look at that. You brought 3 to the table, John. I like it. This is why you are, 3 for the 3 times you've been on this presentation. I like the synergy.
Didn't even think about that.
Come on, dude. Aces.
You didn't think I was going to top the Richard Marx, did you? You just didn't.
No. Listen, I'm still stunned. I'm still stunned that you brought Richard Marx back into the lexicon.
Yep.
Well, not the lexicon, but the orbit of the vinyl community.
A little Sticky Fingers vibe there a little bit. Maybe. Could be something happening there.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, Richard, I'm still taking a deep breath on that one. All right. Well, it only makes sense if I showed something. And this is actually something back in print. And I checked before the show. It is still available on the small. If you guys believe in supporting small local business, there's a small shop up in Seattle, Washington way called Amazon. I don't know if you've heard of this small. It's a struggling business, struggling enterprise, but they do sell records, and they sell. Let me make myself big because that's the way to do it. So if you're a Tom Petty fan, this was his first band. I know John is. John's going to like this. So this is Mudcrutch.
Yep.
And this originally was, I think they put this out 2008. It's kind of like a rewind situation. Like they've been obviously famous, and they came back and actually revisited some of their original material. And I think they reissued this maybe 2017. Correct me on the dates if anybody knows. But this is actually the later reissue of the 2008. But it's a Bellman cut, and it sounds marvelous. Of course, it's on. I'm always terrible. Guys, is it reprise? I always mispronounce it. Reprise, right?
Reprise.
Thank you. So yeah, double disc. And if you look right now, Mudcrutch, it's back, like I said, back in print. And if you support this business, it's Amazon.com. $22.98 right now. So I did check. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. I get no kickbacks. I'm not an affiliate of that small company. But I do know that as I've seen it kind of getting around the local shops now being back in stock, MSRP is about $40. So I'm all about supporting local. But when you're talking about almost 50% off, this is a good one. So, yep. Oh, do you have the 2008, John? Is that what that is?
I don't know what I have.
I think the 2008 came with like a 7-inch too. I think that's one of the.
This did not that I know.
Okay, but it's good, right? You can attest that this is a good.
Oh, I love this album. It's very good, very good.
Very good. Yeah, that's actually kind of the inspiration for this topic was because I talked to a friend of mine who owns a shop, and I'm like, hey, is Mudcrutch, is that coming back in stock, or is that just like a dead stock kind of thing? The label is moving on to work through Amazon, and none of his distributors had any information about it, so I don't know the full background, but it is on Amazon for less than $23. So that's why I use 20-ish.
There's a 2 also.
Oh yeah, they just call it 2, right? It's Mudcrutch 2. That one's also, I think it's on, again, small company. It's on an Amazon website for like 25 ballpark.
Yeah, but if you're a Petty fan, definitely I would pick it up.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. So check it out. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, see? So people, I know people have been kind of looking for this, and it was kind of, again, underreported. But when I was in Seattle recently, I did see a couple shops, did had it for, 44, 90, whatever. It's wild.
Yeah.
So, all right. Great first topic, guys. I think we're really standing on our laurels. Let's move on to topic number 2. And this one, Mr. Rojas brought to the table. So I know I'm going to lead off with him because he's got to be hot. He's got to be hot to try. We're going to have to pot him down. We might need you to oven mitt. I have to send you the oven mitt virtually, Jason, if you're ready to just rock and roll on this one. Tell us about, what do you want to start with? Do the best, one round of best, and then one round of worst, or you just want to do both?
No, we'll do a round. So which one, best or worst? Maybe worst.
Let's do best. Let's be positive because we can come with the flamethrower at any time, right? We need to wet the whistle of our wonderful viewers. So let's do best reissue release you've bought lately. Jason has vanished, but I'm gonna put him in the big seat. Here we go.
So, oh my gosh, not ready.
He's got so many. There's so many great reissues that literally he's just gonna blind pick. That's what he's doing right now. He's off screen and he's ready. He's just gonna pick one.
Take the name off. I bought this recently. Maybe you can get it cheaper, but it's not going for cheaper. But the reissue of this thing that came out on Record Store Day,
Yeah.
Elton John, 17/11/70. Again, this is his live album.
Macho Man likes that one.
Right. The cool thing about it is they actually expanded the reissue to 2 LPs. So you get, I believe, most of the show. Let me see if I can get it on there.
Nice.
Which is great. But I think there's people are online are selling this for over 100, which not
Woo.
cool. But I found it at End of an Ear for, if we can get it right.
$45.
Yep.
I like it.
I love this record, actually. I mean, this is one of his better records. Here is the original UK of it.
Oh, nice.
I know, I'm just playing here. But again, if you can get this for cheap, like not the $100, again, this is a good reissue. Well worth your
Nice.
money. And if stream it if you can,
Yeah.
You know.
Remind me, and maybe it's not on that one, but I know because he was going through his catalog and doing like the Record Store Day reissues on different titles, like you talked about. This one, I think,
Yes.
started it.
Yeah.
Ludwig's there. He does have somebody of prominence involved in these, right? Is it an RL? I forget. It's a name guy. I forget.
No, I think it's just Bellman.
It's just Bellman. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. I like it. Yeah. So Nick Fantasy says I've got a first German press on Hansa of that Elton
cool.
record. Nice.
Cool. Hansa means listen in German.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but thank you. It's cool. I like it. All right, so that's the best reissue you've picked up lately.
Yes.
All right, I like
Totally
it. So
worth it.
all right, perfect. I like it. It's a good tone. It's a good way to start it off. John of Music Talk with John fame. Show us, hit us with the goodness, the sweet, sweet goodness.
This is an artist I don't normally listen to, but I really like this album. And it's this Dave Matthews.
Oh yeah, good call. Some Devil, yes.
I was waiting, and I didn't know if this is really a reissue because it's, I think, the first time on vinyl. So,
First time on vinyl, yes.
but it's sort of a reissue, maybe we'll call it that. But I was really happy with the quality of this. Not a pop, nothing. It was weird though. The first time I listened to it, I wonder if you guys have ever had this issue. So I got to the last song on side A, which is Some Devil, nice quiet song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right at the very end, just before it's going to end, it starts kind of skipping.
Oh no!
And all of a sudden, you're like, "What the hell?" And you hear pop skips and all this. It's not sliding, and I'm looking at my needle. My record looks flat, but my needle's going like this, and I'm like, "What the hell is going on here?" Because usually you're going to expect the record to go with it. So I didn't know what to do. I got it to the record store. I said, "Hey, I got a problem." Put it on their record player. It played all the way through. Not a problem. Not an issue. And then we kind of sonic cleaned it over there. I brought it home, and it plays fine now. So I don't know if there was just residue or something sitting in there inside the grooves causing the needle to do that and causing it to skip. So it's the strangest thing. But fortunately, It's all ironed out now, and the album sounds really good. And Dave Matthews, he gets on my nerves just a little bit with his voice and his kind of wankiness. But this album, I think he's going through divorce, so it's kind of a darker album, a little bit deeper. And Gravedigger is a crazy great song.
Yeah. Even the title track, Some Devil, is a good one.
Yeah, Gray Blue Eyes. I mean, it gave it like a different atmosphere. He was working with a different band. So, yep, this one's good. I recommend it. It's on just a regular black vinyl. I saw somebody review the blue vinyl and it had a little bit of noise, but this one played nice. So
it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you showed that, because I think after one of our shows recently, like, believe it or not, when we get done filming, we actually still talk records offline. And I actually had that record because I got it straight from the DMB website, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in this really cool kind of, call it storm splatter. It what really took me is, like, if you hold it up to certain light, there's like reflective properties in it that make it kind of glisten. Remember that, Arnaldo, when I was showing you? Arnaldo was captivated. He's like, must come to Butthead.
Although I'm not a Dave Matthews fan.
Yeah, I'm not, but something about this album, I don't know.
Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, but I
kind of identified with what you were saying was annoying you, John, like the wimpiness of his voice is really what kind of turns me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, how can you talk about a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer like that? Because believe it or not, they're a first ballot Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I think that's actually another show topic for another day. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, glam or sham, because there's some people that get in there. I think it's like anything else. It's like everybody gets in eventually, so I don't know what it takes. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a little
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the album. All right, Arnaldo, now that you've insulted John and me, what
well, he's the one who started. He started insulting,
Totally messing around. Hang on. We've got some other DMB fans. We got Ariel Estevez. Been to 40 DMB shows. They do have a traveling following. I've been to a couple shows. And it's pretty wild. So I give them credit for having that following. They haven't made any new music that's appealed to me in quite some time. But
all I could say is thank God they're not releasing anything on Record Store Day anymore, because those guys for a couple of years were always the first in line.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true. All right, Arnaldo.
All right,
what do you think of that?
Very boring and predictable. But everybody has been talking. I don't know how many videos have we seen on, and how many forums have we read about the Rhino Black Sabbath, right? But no one's giving any love to the Devo reissue that came out. And I think this sounds really, really good. Although I had a problem with my copy. There's some non-fill on on the first track.
So is this the Rhino? Is that what you're holding up?
This is the Rhino high fidelity freedom of choice.
Got it.
And it has Whip It on it.
Okay.
So
did you say non-fill? What is non-fill?
It's that crackling noise, almost like
staticky kind of.
Yes, and it lasts only usually for like one round, not even one round.
Okay.
Like a partial revolution, yeah.
Yeah, they call it also, some people call it like the zipper effect, or the string of pearls, something like that. And
this is getting real kinky. We got to watch this. There's children watching the show.
And it happens a couple times on the first track. And then I was actually talking shop, of course, because I was at work talking with one of the production guys about this non-fill that happens on several records. And he explained to me that basically it's when, because you put the puck in the middle, right? And then the two plates from the top and the bottom, they kind of squeeze it, and the puck flattens out because I think it's heated, and it expands, kind of like when you make a waffle, right?
Sure.
And when you have the waffle iron, that it doesn't fill all of the holes sometimes because you don't put enough batter. That's exactly what happens, is that it's little particles that are empty that haven't been filled fully. With the vinyl hasn't filled fully the plate, the stamper, and that's why you get the non-fill.
Yeah, and
and he explained to me, well, I knew that, but he explained to me when you get it, it's always on the first track or maybe the second track of each side, because that's the farthest that the vinyl compound has to travel, right? So if it's not going to fill an area, it's probably more likely not going to fill one of the outer grooves, right? Because it travels from the inside to the outside. So if you get non-fill, it's probably going to be, it's probably never going to be on the last couple of songs of the side. So yeah, emailed customer service. I have actually, I know I had, you know how Chance you have the buddy at Violently Please? What is it, Bud? So I have a buddy now at Rido who is still trying to solve the back order on the Black Sabbath. And now I'm just replying to that chain, right? And I told him, hey, by the way, the Devo also has a problem. And I actually just got a response from him. He says, okay, cool. I'll put it in order to have them ship you another one. Nothing wrong with the mastering and the sound of it. It sounds fantastic. And that's why I really like it. And I recommend it. And, you know, all the bells and whistles of, you know, the heavy cardstock, the really nicely printed jacket. So, yeah, that's my pick. It's kind of boring, kind of predictable, but it literally is one of the latest reissues that I got that I really like.
Fair enough. I like it. Well, now I got to come correct because Jason from the channel, and you should really check out his channel, Drop the Needle Records. I believe he's a big Dave Matthews fan, and I got a fact wrong. And the last thing I want to do is give out fake news. This will probably make a lot of people happy. Dave Matthews Band was not a first ballot Hall of Fame recipient. So,
Chance, you wouldn't be the first stream that disseminates fake news in the vinyl community. So,
no, breaking news.
Our fathers and mothers, we're not going there. Yeah, but Jason, basically, I was using it. That's more of an excuse to give Jason a shout out. Check out his channel, Drop the Needle Records. Good guy, likes 90s and kind of like my kind of wheelhouse of music. So, Jason, thanks for coming correct. Put me in my place, and I'm going to have to think about what I've done in this tragic error. So I apologize. Thank you. All right. Well, best reissue that I've bought.
Here comes a Macho Man record.
It is not this album.
Oh no!
It is not this album by I don't know if you're familiar with this band. It's called Psychedelic Horseshit. I don't know if you're familiar. Arnaldo, have you heard of this band? It's a emerging band.
Award-winning
band. Are you familiar with that band, Arnaldo?
yeah, but you know what? It's that cover, man. That's pretty beat up with all that ring wear on it.
I mean, this is kind of. I mean, yeah, this is not for.
How long has it been sitting in a bid, tucked against the last record on the bid that it got all that ring wear?
I tried to clean it up as best I could. I got some of that green clean, and I ran it through the degritter. I mean, we tried to like mouth to mouth it. We really tried to bring this guy back to life, but it was tough.
It's like pre-washed jeans. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, no, actually, so joke of jokes. That's Jason's band, and I found it on the site, and I was happy to add to the collection at a very, very reasonable price. But no, what I would say, and hopefully I'm not steal anyone's thunder on something else later, but to me, the best reissue I've gotten, I'm going to shout out to Arnaldo. Bud is my friend at Acoustic Sounds. He's going to be actually, when my wife and I renew our vows one day, Bud's going to be in the wedding party. We talked that much. But no, the reissue of Core as part of the Atlantic 75 series is phenom.com. What I mean by that is they've put this out. They've tried to put this out on vinyl several times. I think 2013 was a Record Store Day version that was like yellow, and they've done like an anniversary edition, but it always seems to be on like one disc, and it always seems to be just no muscle. So this was done exceptional. I think this is a Ryan Smith. I think he dropped the K because he's maturing. He's kind of like Michael Bolton didn't want to be called Mike Bolton anymore. Same kind of principle. So Ryan Smith crushed it, and I was very, very happy because this is one of the things that I was most interested in that whole Atlantic 75, the Yes albums and all the what I'll call the older generational stuff that really didn't appeal to me. But when I saw some of these 90 titles, I was curious what they could do with it, and to me, this one is probably my favorite reissue of the year so far, like hands down. It's aces. So I know Arnaldo, you have one, right?
Yes, I do.
And I know Jason does, because Jason and I have talked about it.
But I see. Did you go ahead and laminate that yourself? It's very nice and glossy.
Listen, this is a sore spot because this is where I had to go back to my friend Bud, because this was billed as laminate jacket and all this kind of stuff, and it was a matte finish. And I found out the dirty little secret that the rest of the series is going to be matte finish. So those early Atlantic 75s that came in that nice laminate, thick, muscled jacket, you're getting a matte finish from now on. And they didn't really elaborate on why. I'm assuming it's cost
cheaper.
component.
It's cheaper.
Hey, listen, I don't want to start any kind of rumors, because rumors are like tumors; they're hard to get rid of. But I have a feeling, and of course, the one I was most excited about that really would look great with that pop, that laminate pop on that kind of artwork. Man, yeah, Joey Tavares, chef's kiss for that STP. I'm all about giving flowers when you earn your flowers. You get your FTDs when it's time for your FTDs. But man, it's pretty good. Now, Bellman, I think, did do that. I think up until this, for me, honestly, that probably, it was like the thicker as the anniversary edition. That was probably my favorite version up to that point of this release. But hey, Chad and the gang, more 90s, please.
Do you have the original 90s of that?
So I don't believe, unless it was a European release, I don't have it. My understanding, and I'd have to double check, correct me in the comments, was that 2013 Record Store Day was the first time on
vinyl. Okay,
I'm pretty positive, because I have every vinyl version of it. Even the Walmart reissue that came out, it had the like red splatter. It looked cool, but didn't sound cool, kind of deal. But yeah, this is. I don't want to use. I'm going to borrow Patrick's line. I don't like to use definitive, but I don't see how they can top that, to be honest with you. So, Jason, do you concur? Because I know we've talked about the STP. How did you feel it?
I'm not a fan of that first album, but the reissue sounds great, immaculate. Like it really comes up with the sign, especially like side C and D, like that. Wow.
Yeah, Cracker Man. Yes, on it. Big fan. All right. So, well, hang on. So, Michael Tedder, I like what you're doing, but we're going to get to this in a second. So, Michael Tedder says, I received my fraction shipping notice from Riding Easy tonight. Excited for that one. Stay tuned. Hold on to your shorts. We're going to talk about reissue labels in a second. So, I know that's going to get a lot of people stiff in the pant. Sit down. We're going to come to it. We got to go one more round, because we're going to be negative Nancy's. We're going to talk about the worst reissue that we've purchased lately. And this one could be very controversial. So, if you're going to clip off anything from this video, as certain people are prone to do, this is it, because this is the truth. This is the truth, and this is going to be controversial, and this is where we make our money. So get ready. So, Jason, I see you nodding already. Are you ready? Are you ready to unleash what is? And I think we may share the same one. I'll be curious. What is the worst reissue you've purchased lately?
So my upcoming video will probably come out tomorrow, and I had to, shout out to Chris Vinyl Piper for lending me his copies of this album. But I have to say, this is one of the worst reissues I've ever heard.
Wow! And what are you holding? I can't believe this. What is that album?
I'm holding the Black Sabbath self-titled on the Rhino Hi-Fi series. Okay.
Wow.
Did not meet my expectations. And if you disagree with me, watch my video coming up soon. And we'll actually listen to 2 of the songs on this compared to the US white label promo, the UK Vertigo, and a bonus round of the German Vertigo versus this. So there you go. Like,
you
go hard
are
on this.
disgusting.
Governor, Governor, I don't know what to say to that. I think a lot of people are gonna agree with you. That is a hot take right there.
Yep. So if you disagree, find out for yourself, because then you'll be able to listen to, all these Sabbath until you're sick of Sabbath, like me. I'm sick
like
of
you.
it. Yeah, and really, I don't want to listen to this record. See you later.
Jason, we got a comment from Tom, High Rant District. Says someone better show the Rhino Hi-Fi television album. I thought for sure that probably would have been in your short list. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, Tom, but I mean, come on. Concert Buddy said go controversial, and I just did.
Wow. Well, hang on a second. Here it comes. It's like the faucet. Here comes the controversy. Tim, University of Vinyl, a trusted voice in the vinyl community, says, I have listed mine on Discogs. Oh, shit.
Wow.
I mean,
So-
this is where Tim is not playing, and no one's playing on this Rhino Hi-Fi stuff.
Should have saved Jason for last, man. Mine's lame compared to that.
Well, John, if you show the Richard Marx again, I think we'll be okay. Right?
Okay, all right. But it's not a reissue.
No one knows that. Just show it again.
We got some bidding going on. Leland is offering $40 American greenbacks.
Oh my gosh.
So Jason, to follow up, because I am a timid interviewer, but I do think I come correct once in a while. This young fellow, Michael Esposito, I think he's Italian, recently said that this is the best he's ever heard it. How do you respond to that? Because it's high stakes. It's high praise for something that is getting mixed results in areas I'm traveling.
I guess I better be careful here, Chance. If you would want to hype this up so the value goes up, because now it's sold out. I mean,
yes.
I could pull that trick, that some other people are doing, wink, wink, and sell this for $150. I guess that is the going rate.
It is the going rate, yes, sir.
So I mean, that's the thing. Whether you trust VC personalities or not, I'd rather trust my own ears, and again, shout out to Vinyl Piper for lending me those copies, and I compared them. Again, I compare it, side by side, not listening to one on the other. We do an A/B testing on my whole DJ system. Let's see if I can. Nope, I can't. I can't share my screen.
Jason, now I will, while you're trying to show that to the masses, Jason, I did go over his house when we were down in Austin, and he does have I give him credit. The way he A/Bs this stuff is actually very smart, and he has like a 5-second delay between the tables and kind of goes to the same part of each song, so it is like literally A to B. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. You want to explain kind of how you do it, Jason?
Yeah. So I'll have one record playing here, and it's 5 seconds ahead of this record that's going to be here on the other turntable. And so I don't trust my memory. I'm not, that kind of guy, making blanket statements. Again, you compare what you just heard, and then you'll compare it, 5 seconds later, So sure. I know it's a little bit anal and crazy, but, this is where it led to, So again, my video will show, do these VC personalities actually have their hearing, or they've lost their hearing, or they're trying to, upsell this record, I mean, it's not like it's going to show up on his whatnot for 150 or 200. That's a bad joke, okay?
It's a joke. It's a joke. Relax, people. We're already. Jason, Eddie, Physical Media Talk, great guy, asked, what kind of stereo gear do you have? I'm assuming he wants names. Maybe I missed that.
Yeah. So Eddie, I have 2 Technics 1200s. I have a Rane 68 mixer. I have 2 Ortophone 2M Black, right, with the Shibata needle, right? So it's as much as you can get into the grooves to compare the records, And I have like 2 Yamaha HSM 80s like powered speakers. I don't have an amplifier, man. I just have 2 powered, speakers, And that's how I listen to the music.
Yeah, again, I've seen it firsthand. So, I mean, again, I don't expect Jason and I to agree on every type of thing, but I do think his method is very good. And I'm not say other people don't have good methods. I just have seen Jason's firsthand. And so it's a voice I can trust. Not to say I don't trust other people's opinions. It's nothing like, no, I'm being serious, because I know, like, again, we're in this tribalism thing that, people think that constructive feedback is, and their own personal feedback is a shot, and sometimes it's not. More often than not, it's not, right?
Well, like I said, if you're ever in Austin, just, message me on Instagram and we'll meet up and you can hear it for yourself. There's no reason to be in the dark or trust this thing. You can come over and we'll have a good time.
Shout out to Malaya. Malaya has entered the danger zone of the Surface Noise presentation, so it's good to see her.
I haven't seen her in a long time. Wow.
Listen, either she's extremely bored, there's a cable outage, or she's here to support what some call the broadcast for the people. I don't know who those people are, but this is the broadcast for the people.
The down and outers, the lonely people.
That's right. All right, so let's wind the table back. Let's go Arnaldo. I'm ready. I think everyone else is ready. Tell us, what is the worst reissue you've bought lately? Wow. Okay. So tell us.
The
Oh, no.
REM reveal, and I have the original that came out back in, was it 2002? And I hadn't heard it for a while, so then I played this first, and it sounded okay. Then I played it again, and I realized that I wasn't hearing things that I remembered, and so I pulled out my old copy, and I started to A/B it, and I was like, "Wow, the bass on here is a little exaggerated. It kind of drowns out, some other elements that I noticed on the original, and it just sounds a little bloated." Almost like someone, I don't have any type of tone controls on my amplifier. It's almost like when you turn the knobs, and because you like more bass or more treble. That's what it sounded like to me. But also, I think the voice seemed to have a different placement on the reissue, a little bit more up front compared to the original. It could be an interpretation. Whoever cut it or mastered it or remastered it may have put their own spin to it, but I personally was disappointed. And I got some of the other reissues that came out. They all came out last year, around the summer and fall, and I kind of compared them all to my originals, and I don't think any of them succeeded in besting, or at least in my opinion, I still preferred my original copies, except for one, which I don't have an original of, which is the only REM of the later years, Around the Sun. That sounded good to me, but because I'm only comparing it to a CD, so which one is the worst REM album? This one?
I think Ariel
This
is
one?
suggesting that one. Yeah.
No. If there is a worst, it is probably Around the Sun. Definitely not this one.
Okay. Fair
Sorry, I beg to differ on that. So yeah, this was a disappointment. Eventually, they'll be put on Discogs because I'm just saving them for a video that I was planning on doing for quite some time for all the REM reissues, and I've never gotten around to.
So there's a new channel in the violin community. I want to give them a quick rub. This is Norman Maslov. I'm not sure what country Norman come from, but they're commenting. I thought Up sounded pretty good.
Well, I have Up, and I compared it to my original. I prefer the original. Sorry.
I like it. See, look, we can listen. This is a good refresher for the world that, despite our differences, we can agree to disagree and not hate the other person. So I hope our allies and our non-allies are taking a microscopic view of what's happening here, because we can do it. It's like Rocky at the end of Rocky IV. No one knows that reference. All right, we'll just go ahead.
That's waiting. Adrian? Oh, that was the first one.
Oh, no. That's where Rocky gives like this very heroic, like he's in Russia.
Oh,
like Soviet Russia, and of course he beats Drago, and he gives a speech that's supposed to unite. It's kind of like Bill and Ted. It saves the world, the one side.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. All right, John, the mic is hot, the seat is warm. Tell us, what is the worst reissue that you've purchased of late?
Well, I usually get rid of them pretty quick, so I had to really think. And the only reason I held on to this is because it's the only copy I have, but everybody knows the issues with it.
Tell us what it is, John.
It just snap, crackle, pop all the way through. That freaking great beginning is just full of noise. That you're waiting for those silent moments where the guitar comes in and then you crack, pop, pop, crack, crack.
So the album John's talking about is the famous Maggot Brain by Funkadelic.
And I've heard in different stories, like the original tapes are gone. We're never going to get a good copy of it. But why does it have to be so bad? Why so many snap, crackle, pops? Is it the wrong company getting hold of it, or what's happening? I don't know.
So, John, I'm going to ask you a question. On the back of that, does it say 4 men with beards?
No.
Okay, because that one
is the worst. I don't even know who these guys are. Westbound.
Well, no. So Westbound's the original, but I know
Okay. Oh,
for a while, Foreman with beards was reissuing it, and it sounded like buttholes. I mean, it literally sounded like if buttholes could sing. So it's terrible.
yeah. It's. I think past the snap crackle pops, it's okay. But you can't get past them, and so that it drives me crazy. But it's the only copy I have. So I deal with it. I have other ones I've had issues with. That's the Muddy Waters.
Let's not talk about that. That Muddy Waters is a disaster.
I still have one unopened over there. I'm just daring myself to open it. I put enough juju on it to go. No seam splits, no pops, no wanky records. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, that's a great segue because we're going to talk about that. We may have to cut up the show because we're running a little long, but I would love to hear your thoughts on those one steps and just how terrible the packaging is. Let's put that in our pocket, John, because I know you firsthand. You've wrestled with that dragon.
I felt it.
All right. Well, to put a bow on this topic, I'll go kind of quick. And I'm surprised. I thought Jason was going to. Jason, be honest, maybe this was going to be your number one until this Black Sabbath situation. But bar none, the worst reissue that I've picked up in some time is Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies, which I have an original from back in the day. This was very nice. It's very cute. This is the tricolor that was through. It was e-com only through their website. I didn't get in there to snag one of those ones that have flies literally embedded in the wax, which I thought was actually pretty neat. But I think they only made a small version of that. But this sounds like, this is a joke. And I know there's some people who have given it like positive reviews. I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm just going to take you to the carpet because this sound. No. This is like friends don't let friends give each other this record. It should have been done much, much better. And I say that because when they did the Dirt reissue not too long ago, not bad. It was pretty good. Like it's what fans of this band who have been looking for these reissues for years. Dirt was what we have been looking for. This, if you're desperate, if you are starving of hunger, you'll eat a shit sandwich. This is the shit sandwich that the label gave us, and it's not good. So I hate to be that way, but it's not good. So,
did you say it's the best of the worst reissue?
No, I don't know. I wouldn't even. Well, I wouldn't even use my cute language like that because I do not recommend wasting any money on this. Now, I will say for $20, you get what you pay for in a lot of ways. That's why we kind of said best reissues earlier for $20. You can get this for about $20. Save your money. Not worth it. Sorry, I know that's controversial, but what am I going to do?
Yeah, I wonder if it's part of because you know the album so well. Because I have a copy. I don't even know where I got mine from.
Sure.
I have to look at it, and I was fine with it. But you might know it better. Like you might catch like Ornado kind of caught things with the REM thing, saying something's not right here. So I wonder if it's the trained ear. If you're more familiar with it.
No, listen, I would never I would very rarely say that I have a great system. Like my system's vintage Marantz. Solid. It's good for me. Like Jason and I've talked about this. Like it's good for me. Mm-hmm. Could it be better? Of course. I'm sure there's ways that you can really bring things out of this. I can just tell you, like the first thing that turns me off on any record is if I automatically, because I keep my volume at a consistent level, and if I automatically have to turn it up, it's already like okay. And then even when you do turn it up, then there's no real, I don't know.
So it's overall okay.
And in fairness, maybe I probably was expecting more. Maybe that's just what it is, kind of deal.
And you're disappointed with something we're really excited about.
Yeah, because again, like even though I have an original, like originals are very expensive. Let's be honest, I got it before it got super crazy, but the band deserves better. Let's just put it that way. It reminded me kind of when I was talking about those STP earlier versions of Core. It was like that. It's like okay, cute. It's on vinyl, man. A little bit more extra mustard on the hot dog really would have went a long way on this. So.
I'm just curious to hear the opinions of people that got the ones with the fly in it.
Well,
I wonder how that sounds.
That's true. I'd be very curious. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do some homework. That's a great idea. Maybe the Discogs will have some interesting reviews because it looks cool. It's Jose. He's not here, but he's turned me on to that label. Like I follow him on Instagram. They do some really neat applications. But yeah, to your point, Arnold, it probably sounds like questionable, but maybe not. Maybe because it's clear, and then it's got the faux flies. Hopefully PETA is not involved because PETA would probably
animal cruelty.
Exactly. Yeah.
Flies for a record.
Say it ain't so. All right, well, let's take a poll. We'll run long to get our third and final topic, and normally we do like the first hour for the pod. We'll go a little bit longer because we do want to get this third topic in. That way we don't cut it off. So let's just get into it. And this is kind of what I was teasing. Michael Tedder, I hope you're still in there. I hope you are ready because we're going to talk reissue labels. It's supposed to be a good segue in terms of what we were talking about earlier into this reissue. And Jason talked about it with that Rhino High Fidelity. But before we do that, I do want to say, so Groovy Lisa said she got the Keen Hope and Fears in the mail. I hope it's a good one for you. Thanks for showing up. Good to see you. Now, third topic, bing, bong, boom, reissue labels. So I'm going to be, let's just go, we'll go quick and we'll start at the levels. And I just said the levels, top tier, mid tier, or bring you to tears. And I don't have a cute board. Like Spins Vinyl did a nice job. He had this ranking thing, and I'm going to have to share best practice. He's going to have to teach me. He's going to have to teach me, the old, how to do that. Because my son does something similar. He does these ranking things too. So I thought it was a good idea. But I'm old. We're just going to talk about the old school way. So let's just go around the horn. John, I'll start with you. Is there a reissue label that you would consider best in class?
Yeah, and it's probably my weakest area because I really don't pay attention to labels. But since there are some that stick out,
Sure.
So we're just going to do our first one, our top one first. Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to show, yeah. This is more just like a freestyle kind of presentation piece.
Well, I can do it. I mean, my top and middle are, there's not really a middle ground for me.
Okay, so what is the top tier reissue label to you?
Blue Note. I love Blue Note.
Okay, interesting. All right.
All these jazz albums I'm getting, Blue Note, especially the Tone Poet series, I've never, ever had an issue with these things. So all these jazz albums, we got to represent the jazz a little bit. So
Fair enough. Okay.
especially that Lou Donaldson. So yeah, Blue Note sticks out for me. And then if there was a middle, which Blue Note's my top, I guess you would say. So if there has to be a middle, it'd be the Music on Vinyl.
Okay.
I like these guys. I haven't had an issue with any album that I've purchased from these guys with their reissues. Yeah, it's the same thing, just different kind of thing. And then the worst would be whoever the hell put this thing together. Whoever this
Back to the maggot brain. Okay.
This is the worst one. So that's the one that came to mind. So
that's the one that brings you to tears, John. Is that fair to say?
I cry when this comes on, and not in a good way.
Oh no! I wish I had a spare. I used to have a spare of an OG that had a lot of crackle to it, but it was a good starter copy. But I got off of it a while ago. But even with the crackling, you can still hear that Eddie Hazel, and Eddie Hazel will bring you to tears in a good way because it is amazing on that, especially the title track.
That Attila or that Hassels that you sent me is in better condition than this freaking thing. I'm telling you right now.
I knew you'd find a way to throw in some more Billy Joel. I just knew it. I mean, you just couldn't help yourself.
Yeah, come on. That's what we do.
All right, Arnaldo, give us the top tier, mid tier, and brings you to tears of reissue.
Well, I don't have the show and tell.
No, that's okay. No show and tell.
So I think I have to give it to Chad. I mean, the quality control usually is top notch with Analog Productions or acoustic. It's called Analog Productions. The presentation of the jackets, what he's doing with the Atlantic 75. Maybe the choice of titles could be improved upon, but I think there is some form of redemption with the Atlantic 75 in now doing 90s rock, doing 70s rock, a little bit of everything. So I think Analog Productions, Acoustic Sounds, they get the number one for me in terms of reissue labels.
And this is despite the questionable website.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you got Rhino, which is a major.
Acoustic Sounds is loving this Rhino situation because it's making them it makes their shit smell very sweet right now. Actually, hang on. I think somebody's trying to order
mail.
Oh, somebody's trying to order from the Acoustic Sounds website right now. Hang on. That's an order going through, guys. All right, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
If I was lucky enough to get the Exodus Bob Marley, I don't know how I got it with that website crashing and orders freezing up. I enjoyed it afterwards. It's a stellar release. Yes, they do press some records that maybe because of, I don't know, various reasons. Like Chad says, it's not difficult to press a good record. It's difficult to make them all good. And I think everyone has gotten a record from Analog Productions that they needed a replacement for, right? And there's never a problem, never an issue with that.
Shout out to Bud.
Then I would say Blue Note, but for a while, I think it was like in 2021 or beginning of 2022, I was getting a lot of those Blue Note classic series that were either warped, off center, Optimal kind of like dropped the ball at a certain point on some of their pressings, but they're a solid label. I'd have to say I enjoy those, as well as the Craft ones. The Craft reissues also are excellent.
Yeah.
Especially all the OJCs are really well done in terms of the jacket, in terms of the mastering. I'm really becoming a fan also of the Craft reissues.
Nice. Yeah, good call. Good call. And bring you to tears, Arnaldo.
Well.
Or bring you to panic, or bring you to deep sigh.
Yeah, the deep sigh. I think for bed with beards, they're out of business, right? Okay.
Oh, man.
I can make that sound with my armpit, but that's what I would give the 4 Men with Beards. It's terrible.
I don't know. I mean, the ones that bring me to tears, I don't know. I mean, none of even the better ones, they still every now and then have a lemon, right?
Of course.
It all comes down to if they take care of you afterwards, the customer service.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't want to call any one specific one out.
Oh man, come on! This is a controversy here.
I know Jason's got a good one.
Jason's ready. That's why I'm rounding home with him, because I know he's ready. So,
and don't do Dylan with Noble Records. All right, he's a small deal. All right.
Hang on, Hulk Hogan. Hang on, we got Hulk Hogan on line one. Arnaldo, Hulk Hogan wants to say something to you.
What are you, chicken?
Got nothing, Arnaldo?
No, seriously. All right, go ahead, Jason. You go first. I'll think about it some more.
Jason, give us your top tier, your mid tier, and bring you to tears. It's okay. Grown men can cry. It's all right. I know several in the violent community cry every day.
Oh, no. So I'm very proud of this reissue label that has been releasing reissues since the late 90s, early 2000s. So big shout out to Numero, who did their Margot Guerin Words and Music, box set here. Again, it included that rare album of hers from '68, Take a Picture. Well done. Like, this is a well done reissue. This is the box, her beautiful face on it. It included the booklet. Whoa, the record almost slipped out of my hand. Here's a quality booklet, And again, you get the history. So let me back up here who she is some singer-songwriter. It kind of like very pop, but a bit advanced because she was a jazz piano player. I played the whole box set during my live stream on this past Sunday, and it was just amazing, And you can get this for like 3 LPs for $70, And the cool thing about it too is that it comes on this great yellow with a green swirl.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, I see Tom saying,
hang on. Yeah, Tom's coming in. And remember, Tom is the Mr. Mortons, because he comes in salty sometimes. And he says, Numero, who presses at United. So that's in Nashville. You're taking the piss? I don't know what that means. Can you decipher what that means?
I think he's clear. I think Tom is clear. But actually, Tom, nothing wrong with the LP. Sounded great, because her record, Take a Picture from '68, that thing is selling for over 1,000.
Oh,
there's no need to get it. I mean, of course I would want it, but I mean that even I have a threshold.
Fair enough. All right, next up, Jason. Is this the mid tier? Oh, nice.
The mid tier, really?
Well, I mean, if you want to go there, if you just want to do absolutes and go, top and bottom, I mean, feel free.
Yeah, middle was
Yeah, middle. There's no sex appeal to the middle. Let's be honest, but you know,
maybe MoFi is a good middle.
no.
No. I think John is right. Maybe like I would say like MoFi is like mid.
It's a box of chocolates.
Yeah, but you know they don't always hit it off the park. You know,
Fair.
but
Like that.
Their
Waters over there. Yeah, that.
But John, like their customer service has always been legit with me.
Agreed. I agree with that too.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
You know, and they've gotten back to me. They sent me replacements. You know, they even have a threshold too. Like I discovered what that is. You know.
Oh, define. What do you mean by threshold, Jason?
Well, I had some like non-fill with my Yaz. What's the album?
Upstairs at Eric's.
Yep, Upstairs at Eric's. I think that came out in what 80 or 81 or 82. I think. But I had the non-fill. I sent them the video, and they sent me another copy. The other copy is bad, and then I sent them another video. And I think the third time was when they said no. You know. But I mean, they refunded me, but then I was left with a bad record. You know, there's nothing I could do.
That's not cool.
Yeah. But I mean, again, that's mid-tier. You know, I give them, you know, A for the effort at least.
All right, they get a participation trophy or a ribbon.
Oh,
we don't get trophies anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now this is the one. This is the one. Literally, the 70 people still with us on the edge of their seat. What is the one that brings you to tears, Jason? The Reissue label. That it's just sucks.
Sucks bad.
I think sucks is just sucks. It's very absolute.
But I mean, when you're saying suck, am I judging it by the quality or the sound of the records? Or
the criteria to you in terms of like if you hear this name, you're like you automatically think,
cringy.
No bueno.
Oh man.
Wow.
You know what?
You had something, yeah.
You know, I'm a bit stumped on it because I'm not buying too many more reissues, and I'm better for it. You know, my bank account is happier. You know, man, I got.
Well, Jason thinks about it. I just like I think
Arnaldo's ready for controversy. Arnaldo, please save us. We need to start naming names, please.
Third man.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
I just hope that they don't announce something that I want.
Really want, yes.
That is being reissued by Third Man.
We're pouring one out right now for the hardworking folks at Third Man. I'm sure they work hard over there, but boy, oh boy, they've given me more heartburn.
Don't get me wrong. The Jack White records, I think they pay extra attention when they make those.
Yeah, never have this problem.
I've never had a problem with a Jack White release.
So
it's
true.
all the reissues that I don't think they just put enough. I don't know. Maybe it's the pressing plant that they're sending them to. I really don't.
They do them in house, right?
Yeah, but I mean, don't they have? Do they do them all in Detroit, or are they still doing some at URP?
That's a good question.
They do in that little booth that Neil Young played in.
Well, that would make a lot of sense if they're really pressing in volume out of that little record booth. That would explain it.
Squeezes in and plays their songs.
I'm with you. That makes sense. Yeah, actually. Well, Jason, do you want to
go?
I got it.
I got it.
I knew you could rise to the occasion.
So this is the label I do not like. It is the Demon. You know.
Oh man, they're not that bad. Come on.
Because when I listened to this, I don't know. I was like, oh no, like comparing it to my original.
Okay, because you have the original. Thanks.
Yes. So Arnaldo, when you're ever here, we'll listen to this one. We'll compare it. You know, but I just think it's sketchy. You know, like no information about if this is digital or analog or whatever.
Does it matter? How does it sound? If you're telling me that the original sounds better and you like the original, then case closed. But does it matter as long as it you like it, as long as it sounds good to you? Does it matter if it's digital or if it was from a tape?
No, it doesn't matter. But I think to me, like it sounded okay.
Jason, we have the president of Demon Records on line one. Hang on, caller. What do you think of this scathing takedown?
Asshole.
Hang on. We didn't get that.
Asshole.
Okay, listen. This is a family show. We can't. Whatever.
Come on, like
All right, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I try to avoid it, but I mean, when this came out, like I wanted to get it because like I was curious, and I don't know if we compared this. Did we, Chance? You and Jose?
No, we didn't. That didn't make the cut. Jose was so eager to listen to so many other things. Yeah, that one didn't make the cut. All right. Well,
Sorry, Arnaldo. I went there.
No, it's okay because I do have some reissues by Demon, and they're okay. I don't have any issues with them.
Fair
Can
enough.
Concert Buddy, can you highlight Cesar's recent comment?
Oh, I think it says, "Oh no, Jason, no more free records for you."
That's right. No more Demon promo records coming
Wow.
my way.
Caesar, you know where it hit Jason, right where it hurt, and that's below the belt. I got to be honest with you. It's not as below the belt as some of the commentary we're getting today. It's for some new friends. I'm getting a lot of fun stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wonder who that could be. I'm so mysterious. But anyway, let's keep moving forward. All right. So I've seen a couple come up in the comments. A couple of shout outs. So Jackpot Records does. Jason, would you? Yeah, hit or miss, right? I mean, they do some good.
I like the meter records that they put out, the meters, and comparing a $25 record to a $250 one, I'll go for the $25 one.
All day, every day, my friend.
If it gets me 90% there, right?
So Michael Tedder's coming in hot. He says the worst for me is Friday music. I didn't even have Friday on my short list. That's how bad they are. Didn't even make the grade. But no, for me, to kind of put a bow on this, and if anybody in the comments tell us what are your thoughts on this topic. We couldn't go a full segment, and Tom will like this. Vinyl Me Please, because we are a Vinyl Me Please forward channel. A lot of our content lately, and Tom has let me know that we're shilling for Vinyl Me Please. No, but I think in terms of reissue label, a lot of the similar themes we've been talking about. When they do it good, it's good, and when they don't, man, it's sad. And those mailers, don't even get me started on the mailers. Light in the Attic. Mazzy, I'm surprised you didn't come with Lita. I think they are one of your favorites. So Lita, yeah. See, Tom can take a joke. This is all it's about. It's a joke. Third Man was on my list in terms of the because actually I need to stick to the so top tier. I'm gonna go Acoustic Sounds because again, despite their 1991 website, they do really nice work. I do think sometimes they probably rush to produce volume and QC can kind of, but like Arnaldo said, like they'll make it right. And that's to me a good staple of a good reissue label is admitting.
Because Bud was very friendly.
Bud is a handsome man. I don't know what he looks like, but I can tell just from the emails he's a handsome man. So I'd go Acoustic Sounds as top tier for me. Mid tier. And this isn't a shot. This is just I don't buy a lot from them. Is Permanent Records. Lance, he has that label Writing Easy. They do a lot of obscure kind of gosh, how would you describe it? Like that 70s fuzz rock, like some would call it stoner rock. He did the what's that series? I'm blanking. I know I just bought
Brown Acid.
Brown Acid. Yeah, the Brown Acid series is really cool and really well done. Especially the way it's curated. Again, it's not my go-to, but it's been a good entry point for me to that kind of music. There's an art. They just did an album for a band called Backjack, which is actually local to me. I had no idea. It's kind of where I grew up back in the day, and so I've been really listening to a lot. And actually, I was at one of my locals, and they actually have distribution there because I ordered it from the site. I haven't gotten it yet. I streamed it first, and there it was on my locals. So I was like, wow, good for you, Lance. So yeah, I'd put them in that mid tier. I see. We've got some other ones. We'll get to it in a second. When it comes to the bottom, gosh, and this is hard because I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just saying there are others who do it better and do it better easily. Real Gone Music, I have a love-hate relationship with because I love some of the titles they put out, but I hate the way that they put them out. They're not good. So I'd put Real Gone Music in that kind of bring me to tears because it's right there from a like things I'm looking to listen to on vinyl that haven't been pressed they just kind of, I believe that the expression is screw the pooch, I think is the expression. It's French. It means very bad. And so I would say that. But let's wind it down after you've heard my nonsense with a couple other recommendations from the gallery. So we've got, let's see, Richard S says he passes on all the DOL jazz reissues. I've heard that. I think that is not a uncommon sentiment. John Moreno coming up. He's got Scorpio Records with a double, not a single, double thumbs down. Coal Mine, yeah, Coal Mine's good, but I think Coal Mine puts out a lot of first issue stuff, don't they? I don't know how much reissue they do. I know like Alex Beer and Vinyl loves those guys, and it's Plaid Room's kind of side deal.
Yeah, they're good company, but I don't think they do reissue.
Yeah, I don't know if they do reissue. I mean, they may. I mean, again,
a lot of good funk kind of sounding, like 70s kind of sound. Yeah. Yeah.
Nick Fantasy says Run Out Groove. Yeah, when they've done some good stuff. They aren't they the one that used to crowdsource? And they give you like a poll. They give you like 3 titles. And
They did a poll. They haven't done that in years. So.
Right. I thought that was great.
The Marvin Gaye was excellent. The Monkees records were excellent, both of them. And I think they also did. Didn't they do a Randy Newman? I missed that one. I think they did an old Randy Newman album.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not seeing any other names. I think I had a couple other ones. Warp. I'm not familiar. You guys know Warp? Sean the Vinyl Dreams. He comes out of that one.
Yep. They do a lot of like indie rock and some experimental.
Okay.
I know that they reissued the Broadcast albums, which are one of my favorite bands from the late 90s, early 2000s. Those are great.
Yeah, Elemental was one I had on my list. I didn't have it at the bottom. It's kind of more of that mid kind of thing. So Kendall brings up Elemental. That's fair. Shane Rocky says Soul Step Records is pretty great and very quick with shipping. Hey, I like that. I like to hear that. Appreciate that.
I misspoke on the Run Out Groove. It wasn't the Marvin Gaye. It was the Superfly that they did.
Oh, Mayfield, Chris Mayfield. Okay, fair enough. My favorite name in the vinyl community, Depeche Commode, says in the metal space, Shadow Kingdom does some great reissues. Okay. That'd probably be like something you're either really good or really bad at, because if you're like a label like that has a focus, I mean, you've really got to be good at it. So hopefully those guys come correct every time. Impex, that's a name I hadn't heard for a minute. The Impex, the ones I have, like I have a Kenny Dorman Impex, it's pretty good. So we'll see.
We forgot. No one mentioned Intervention.
Oh yeah, Mazzy. Those are your friends. Mazzy, Intervention. I think there's not a week that goes by that Mazzy doesn't talk about Intervention. So Mazzy, come on now. Sadness. All right. Well, guys, we've beat these topics to death. So let's round out the podcast presentation, and we'll get into the freestyle. So don't go anywhere. I know there's a lot of competing live streams. We used to have dominion over this space, at least this time slot, and then sometimes there would be some other shows after, but I know this is a very crowded space, so I appreciate everybody who's tuned in at this time, and I hope you stick with us for the freestyle. But let's thank my guests. Again, Surface Noise is nothing without the guests and without the gallery, so I would be no one if not for my guests, and my guests tonight included the early bird himself, Arnaldo. The channel is Fidelios Frequency. Arnaldo, appreciate you joining us, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me, Concert Buddy.
And then the one, the only, some would say the most controversial member of the vinyl community. I don't know if you'd say that.
There it is.
He took a Cleveland steamer, I think is the expression, on this Black Sabbath reissue, and that's the one, the only. Jason Rojas, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Concert Buddy. Just by the way, the Sabbath Rhino reissue, I'm just going to change my mind, I think it's great for 125, so I'm going to pump this up. Okay? Pump it up.
He's come around, folks.
Jason, give us a link for your Discog store, please, so we can make sure that we make the transaction clean. And and then, well on his way to the Five Timers Club, now in the lead, pole position. So we're putting you on notice, Rob, from Northern Revolutions. You Canuck. It's John.
Yeah. The
name is John. The channel is Music Talk with John. Yes. He also has another channel. We didn't talk about Strange Brew Reactions, where you talk about movies, John. I mean, you've got quite the stable of channel.
I can't make up my mind. It's just you don't want to be up here in this area.
Well, John, I appreciate you showing up, and it's always great to have you on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you in a second. And freestyle is here. That didn't go too bad. Thought we had some
Nice.
good topics.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. I got to switch over the artwork. That always makes it official because it's not a freestyle until we just throw this guy up there. So now we can freestyle. So I think, was it 3 of the 4 members of the dais have the Black Sabbath? And Jason has obviously been very vocal. He's listened to it more times than any human should listen to it over in the space of what, 48 hours, Jason?
Well, probably 5 hours ago, before I had to mail them back to Chris Vinyl Piper, I had to do the bonus video, which was the UK versus the US. I did it, and then I did not want to do it, but I did it anyway. The Rhino versus the German Vertigo, like insane,
Are you a glutton for punishment? I mean,
And then, like, because people kept on, some people, I shouldn't use blanket statements. Some people said the German Vertigo beat the UK Vertigo. I did that last comparison. And I think Arnaldo and I did that. I think we did like that one as well. But I finally recorded it, and that was like the last one. But I'm clearly sick of this,
So, Jason, how do you feel about this? A friend of the show, Nathaniel Morris, says, slab that record, Jason. How do you respond to this?
Those records weren't mine, but maybe if I slab that Rhino, what will happen, right? And just, put, $1,000 on it,
Listen, I want to shout out. Listen, anytime anyone gives these super chats, I never ask for them, but they're beautiful. If you want to like this, that's good enough for me. But Nick Panasy, I love it. Says, add this to your sandbath fund. I think he meant Sabbath fund. He was so excited to throw me those dollars. And Nick, shout out. Don't ask for it, but it's always appreciated. You're the man. But we're gonna put this in. We're gonna put this in the piggy bank, and one day we'll shake the piggy bank. Remember those ceramic, like a true piggy bank? We're gonna. Maybe I should get one as a prop, and then we can crack it open. Content.
I got to start doing streams and getting these contributions. that 199 was more than I made on my channel in the entire month.
Hang on, Nick is correcting it. An entire $2. Like, let's just round up. Let's just do real math on this one. But yeah, Arnaldo, I'd hate to lose you to the streaming wars, but I owe you several attendances. So if you go that route,
I'm just joking.
So we have a comment, Jason. We have a comment. We probably should ask you because it is in your direction. So Wicked Exile says, I can never tell if Jason is being satirical. Jason, how do you please to these charges?
I will admit if I'm being satirical or not. So my last statement where I was pumping up the Sabbath, I was being very satirical, but some people will pump it up. Like now I'm being serious, I still think it's not the best that I heard, and I know that some people are calling me elitist snob or something, but they think I own the Vertigo. Like I actually do, but it's not here. And again, like Chris Vinyl Piper sent it to me, but like if you really wanted the best of that Sabbath, if you really love them, I mean, I have to say what Chance is holding up right now, that Psychedelic Horseshit record, when that came out on vinyl,
great value.
A great value, but it I think now I'm being very critical and serious. The high end is too much on that record. We didn't get it cut right. It's always like a bad feeling when I see it. I'm like, oh no, like it just.
Well, in fairness, Jason does know how much I paid for that because I sent him a picture and I was like, did I overpay or underpay? And Jason, where did you come in on that?
I think you paid the right price.
Right, like I need a right price sticker and I'll just slap it on there. That's what I'm looking for.
Nice price.
Nice price. You're right, John. Yeah, the nice price. This is a still sealed copy. So I am kind of speculating because one of my theories and philosophies is buy one to keep and one to sleep, especially when a lot of times they come with dings and bings and all that kind of stuff. So I do like seeing the 150 price tag from a return of investment perspective, but yeah, maybe we'll have to start a Whatnot stream and see what happens because that's
the Concert Buddy collection coming soon.
No, that's funny.
Countdown clock.
Yeah, no, listen, the people do Whatnot, more power to them. I know Spins does that, and that's another way to get records. So I don't know if I'd ever go that way, but what can I say? I do see this is what happens when you make a joke. Now that was being satirical, And here we go. So Surface Spin says, that's why we're here, for the big money.
That's right.
And dead to real. Dead to real. Dead to real. That's funny. Good
I have a question too. When's the last time you guys were in a Barnes and Noble and went through their records section over there?
I do it actually like maybe twice every 2 or 3 times every month actually. It's a local.
Do you cringe when you walk in there?
Oh no. I'm more curious, because I see what's on sale.
Yeah.
What do they have new? John, like when I wanted to buy the Billie Eilish record, it was sold out at my local. I couldn't believe it, and then I was like, "Are they asking me to go to Barnes and Nobles? Like what?" And I went there, and there it was. They had 3 copies. I was lucky, bought it, and then I listened to it. I'm like, "Wow, I feel fooled right now. This is like the worst sounding vinyl I've ever."
That's what I've heard on vinyl. It sounds pretty bad.
Like I had to crank the gain on my mixer to 8, which is unbelievable. So when you're cranking the gain, then your noise floor is like really high, you know? So that kind of like competed with the music, and because of the way it was pressed at, really poorly, then it's unlistenable, And I made that video on my channel so people can hear it for themselves, Yeah. So like you just discover, like some guy wrote a comment like, this sounds like poop. Sounds like poop. I'm like, you're right, it does. And this is the point of the video.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's real. The Barnes Noble where I go, the way they have their albums stacked, it's so crammed in, and you already have new records with ringware on them. I'm like, these are new records. And there was a Beatles when they re-released the blue and the red, they were shredded across the top with a freaking like $50-$60 price tag on it. I'm like, so I'll take mine with a cheese grater, please. It's like, what are they doing there? And I talk to them, and they don't really seem to care that much, but they're putting a lot of money.
Those people, it's like widgets. They're just stocking shelves. I never get upset with them. But to your point, when you ask the question, like I'll go there on occasion. It used to be a lot better. They actually used to, even some of their closeout sales were pretty good. Like they'll close things out to like $5 record.
They had closeout sales for 50% off, 70% off sometimes. Usually it's around January, February. And I was actually just at one in Long Island on Sunday, and they had a really, really small one, really small section. And surprisingly enough, probably because no one flips through those records, they were all in very good shape.
Yeah.
But the one in the city, in New York City, in Union Square, probably is the one that has the best selection of vinyl, and it's kept the best, like true alphabetical order. You won't find stuff out of place, and the bins are actually better bins and not all crammed in there. There's a lot of room. It's hit or miss. I think it depends on which location you go to. There's some that. This was actually the one that I went to on Sunday. They have different types of what Barnes and Noble. The ones that say booksellers are primarily books. You won't find that much media there, meaning you won't find that many DVDs, Blu-rays, and records. And then you just have the regular Barnes and Nobles that will have a more curated, not curated, but a larger section of movies and music.
Yeah, they used to be. I read on the boards. Gosh, I want to say, because it was almost annual, like you're talking about the closeout sales, and I'd be reading, and you'd see, people like, oh, I got something that just came out real cheap. Last time I read one of those exchanges, I'm going to say probably on Reddit, was a lot of the people are speculating they're getting out of vinyl. That always seems to happen. Even when they do the Walmart sale, they're always like, oh, they're getting out of vinyl. And
no, I think they're just clearing out stock
old inventory
that hasn't turned around in a while.
Yeah, stale inventory, and in a lot of cases, like you're talking about, Ronaldo, I think they're actually shrinking at least the sets on the floor to where they don't have as much shelf space. I mean, they still carry, like Barnes and Noble. Talk about that Adele record. That was one of the.
I was just gonna say, how many copies?
Graveyards. Yeah, that was one of the graveyards for that release. Was that Barnes and Noble for sure?
It's still there. Yeah, there's still like 20, 40 copies over there at this Barnes.
Can we blame the Adele record for ruining the Barnes and Noble record scene? Because it's a contender. I mean,
$10.
That buyer lost their job. I guarantee it. That buyer is not working at Barnes and Noble anymore.
$10 on that sucker. Wow.
Wow. Now KRWD comes in Kmart. back in the day was not bad. Now,
I got
about
Thriller
records,
back in the day.
yeah, records, jeans. They had a nice Jordache jean back in
Yeah.
the day. Yeah, but rest in peace to the retail gods.
Blue Light Special, man. Come on.
Blue Light Special, yeah.
All the ladies would go running. That freaking thing would go up.
Now Shane brings up a good point. Says Target 50%. Does that even happen anymore?
They have their section. They have
that's another one that I feel like they shrunk the floor space.
they
But they
did.
have a lot of the top titles. They also do color variants similar to Barnes and Noble. So they do have that buying power
Yeah.
with the labels at least.
They sneak them away. They have like a discount area where all the toys and everything go. The problem is they stack them like this. So now everything
The people they don't know what they're doing on the floor. Now
Yeah.
Russell brings a good point, because I did see this. So the Talking Heads Stop Making Sense is getting another repress, and Barnes and Noble has an exclusive variant. They're actually doing a clear variant versus I think everyone else is getting like black, like the normal black. And he says, I pre-ordered Talking Heads reissue from B&M online. Got a notice, quote, "We don't have it," and canceled your order. It was sold out everywhere by then. So when the service is no service at all, Russell, I feel your pain on that one. That sucks. Thanks a lot, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. Yeah. It is funny because the one near me, I go to Clearwater, but then I went to one in Orlando, and it was much better the way they even had their bins set up. But yeah.
Yeah, there's probably I think that's probably a management thing too, though. Like I'm sure that some managers just look at them as widgets and just like, okay, stock the shelves. Others probably take some value on how they merchandise the product, because obviously if it looks better, it'll sell better in theory. But
do people put Barnes and Noble right there with Target and Walmart? Just any retail?
Oh, Jason, what do you think about that?
Below like a record store?
It depends. I don't know. Like in where I live, like up in North Austin, there is a Target, there's a Walmart, and the Barnes and Nobles. So and a half price books, So when I'm feeling like really bored, John, I'll hit all four. Like the Walmart would be the bonus round, But I mean, I hate to say it, like I actually found when that Beatles Now and Then was being sold out, you couldn't get anywhere. I went to my Walmart and they had the 45, they had the colored vinyl, so I scooped those up. Like it was, but it did not show up on their online store, like as inventory, like it wasn't there,
Look, I'm not going to lie, and I talked about it on my channel. I mean, when Walmart would do those $15 sales, like literally one morning before work, I went to 4 different Walmarts. It was.
Have they done that lately? I haven't seen that anymore.
They snuck it in. They snuck it in about a month.
They did?
Ago, beginning of May, but they didn't
Really?
advertise it. I just happened to be there looking at the records, and off to the left, they moved, like you were saying, they're taking the titles that have been there, because I just happened to do some videos on them, so I knew what their inventory was. They moved them all over to the left, put them at $15.
Really? Did they actually sticker them?
Yeah, they're stickered $15, but there's no sign to tell you. You just happen to look and go, oh shit, this is $15.
I feel like Target does that too. Like I know in a different part of my personality, like a lot of websites will say they use the expression YMMV, your miles may vary, talking about like, hey, my store just clearance these out.
Mm-hmm.
X record is $4, and then if you go to your local, that record is still full price. So I think it's, I see that a lot. And I think that Walmart, what you're talking, because I read a little bit about that too, but it wasn't advertised. It was just more of like a store by store kind of thing.
And they were a little sneaky too, because I don't know if I get my album covers and sleeves from Walmart, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whatever, they're down there. They're usually about $22. Well, I picked one up and it was half price, but it wasn't even advertised. So of course I went back and grabbed, 3 or 4 of them.
Now, John, I hate to use this as an opportunity.
There we go. Rob did this last night. Let's go.
But listen, when you actually probably did get this, but I mean, there's probably no better outer sleeve than the vinyl storage solution.
There we go.
Pocket. And
I was down here too.
There's never been a better time. Listen, other people may try to promote this, and it's a great product. It should be promoted, but this is all I use. And use that code BCP10 or CONCERTBUDDIE, And some
Yep.
people don't know how to spell.
You should have put it in that sleeve before it got all that ring wear around.
Oh my!
It was too late. It had been on the shelf too long, Arnaldo. It was too late. You know, you can't put lipstick on a pig, I think is the expression. But
You want some deja vu? Go to Northern Revolutions from last night, and I'm sitting right here, and Rob's right there doing the same thing.
hey, listen, Rob is he's a smart guy.
Yep.
What was he promoting?
Same thing.
So he works with them on like Canadian, you know, because they're a Canadian company, and so he does the same thing. He has his own code and all that stuff, and I do the same thing. Like any kind, because I do get a little bit on that, but I just use it. I literally just get sleeves from them. Like I don't get paid for it. They send me product, and that's what I use to sleeve my stuff, which is
Cool.
it's a great undertaking. So again, the code is VCP10. You save 10% or CONCERTBUDDIE. Now, there's been some controversy. I've seen it lately. CONCERTBUDDIE, the channel is BUDDIE. That's intentional. I know that some Neanderthals or some knuckle draggers out there are still using BUDDY, which is both lazy and incorrect. So I see what you're doing out there, and I want to condition you to use the correct spelling. So grammar and spelling is fundamental. It puts the fun in fundamental, and that's
That's right.
today's PSA. So thank you.
There
I think our friend, the great channel Table Talk, could learn this one, because if you want to insult me, you really need to spell the name right. Okay, so I'm giving you a tip. If you really want to come at me, you know, it's like Omar said, "Don't shoot at the king. You best not miss."
Right.
Let's spell it right. Let's spell it right. Thank you.
The insult was in the misspelling. That's where it was.
Fair enough. And I do have to address this. Wally, I see, and again, Wally, I think you have a Duke logo, and it's hard for me as a Carolina fan to see this. I let Elliot Cruz get by with his NC State stuff, but I'm gonna have to warm him up to you when you come to the channel and you got the Duke logo in your avatar. But he had a question earlier. I thought the rules were no impersonators, and that's true. And I think he's probably talking to our friend, the Safe and Sound Vaginal Audio Excursion. I don't know if that's an impersonator. I don't know what that is. I'm still trying to feel out that account. So we're on a week by week basis. I want to earn trust. I think we'll see how it goes. That's all I can say on that. But yes, Wally, generally we're trying to do no impersonators. So again, the famous channel Table Talk isn't an impersonator. I think they're just confused. So I think I'll unconfuse them for them. And if they want me to unconfuse them real quick, we can do that.
It looks like a man crush down there. That's what it looks like.
I got a lot of fans, John. I've come to find this out. I've got it's the fan club you don't want. It's the strangest thing.
and they're shy, so they can't come right out and tell you. So they have to write stuff like that. I mean, that's what happens.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but some people are nobody's cup of tea. Some
Yeah.
people are nobody's. Just think about that.
I don't have to think very hard. Check that out.
What else is going on in the world of record collecting, Arnaldo? I know you were first to the dais today. What's going on in your neck of the woods in terms of, have you added anything really cool lately? We don't have to do show and tell, but just, I know you were out of town recently. Did you get to go to a record store recently while you're out of town? Or?
No. There are no record stores in Fire Island.
No, that's
Yes.
not good. Oh, hang on. We've got company. This is, I don't know if you've heard of this guy. This is,
Hey.
how do you pronounce your channel? Paul? How is that?
Up Shit Creek? I don't know.
Without a paddle? No, it's Patrick PB Thal, the vinyl archivist. How are you, Patrick?
I don't know. Apparently, I owe an apology to somebody, but I'm not quite sure for why.
What? What is? Oh, I'm not reading all the chat. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I was just I just wanted to be here just to clarify some if anybody has any like comparison issues, you know. So I've heard lots of people talking about vinyl comparisons and saying this, that, and the other. So being somebody who's been doing this for a long time, I thought maybe I might have an opinion on this.
Well, tell us. I mean, before we get into that, I'm gonna stoke this fire slowly. The Black Sabbath? I mean, what are your thoughts on this reissue? Let's start there.
I mean, to me, it was obvious. I mean, like I knew within, I don't know, 30 seconds that the Vertigo was, to me, was powerful. It sounded like that album should sound like. Like I said, I just for fun, I hardly ever do this. In FooBar, you can have an ABX comparator where you can put the two files, it'll level match them. You don't know which one you listen to it, you go, you know, X is A, Y is B. And so, you literally don't know what you're guessing on. And I usually, I can get like 50%, 60%, but I got 9 out of 10 on this. So I was like, okay, this was really easy to tell the difference between the UK and the Rhino, but the funny thing to me is when one person says that the Rhino that the UK is bright, one person says that the UK is rolled off, and that yet somehow the Rhino is perfect in both those scenarios. So, so that just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, in just a thinking in my head sense, I'm like going, okay, well, if the UK is rolled off on this system, then the Rhino should be perfect at that point, right? But then if the UK is bright on this system, how can the Rhino not be brighter than fuck at that point? I don't understand it, and I just don't. I don't. So,
Patrick,
people hear what they hear.
Where did you post your sound clips?
I haven't posted any. I haven't done anything on this yet. I did,
because I think Scott from the Pressing Matters in his video,
Scott Wilson, shout out.
Yeah, mentioned that you had.
I posted them on my site on the site where I post all my vinyl rips. I have posted it there, but I haven't done anything on YouTube about it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what site that is, and I was curious. I was looking for it to see if you did one of those blind shootouts or that you normally use.
No, not. Yeah. I mean, there's been so much talk about it. I just kind of like, I was just going to let it roll, and it's fine. I think most people who do the shootouts say, that the Vertigo is better. Most people who have the same hearing as me, I guess, maybe, but.
Patrick, like, actually, you and I agree. Like, I actually thought the UK Vertigo is the best one. I stated that in Discogs. I got a lot of attacks on it, but I mean,
but that's to be expected, because people want to believe that they're getting this holy grail Black Sabbath finally, and they deserve it. That they deserve it. Deserves to be. I mean, I've had other people say you don't want it to sound good. Fuck, I want it to sound good. I don't want. I've literally had people tell me you just want it to sound bad. I'm like going, no, I don't. I don't want any of this stuff to sound bad. I have no desire. People have actually said that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of haters. I mean, to me, you just see my video. We'll compare it, and you decide for yourself.
Jason's getting really good at that deep tease. I like it.
The only problem with that is that you're probably going to get your video pulled pretty quickly because Ozzy and Sharon are not really happy about that kind of stuff.
Well, the thing is, like, because Chris, Vinyl Piper, and I are talking, and it's just like moving on. We haven't uploaded it yet because we're editing it because it was like over like an hour and a half. We cut it down to 40. I think 40 minutes of like listening to records is like way too much, So we're gonna try to cut it down one more.
I'm just saying, be prepared that it might not last. I did a Beatles one like that one time, and I spent like hours on it, and like 5 minutes after I uploaded it, was gone. It was like I almost cried. So
got a good question, guys. And I've wanted this too because obviously there's different tapes. There's and Arnaldo educated us early on, privately and probably publicly, because one company holds the UK rights to those tapes, and another has the US, and obviously they use I believe it's the Artisan plate work or the tapes for this version. The question is, Music in the House, is it fair to compare Vertigo to a Warner given they were different mastered tapes? Patrick, where do you land on this?
Of course, because you're presenting it to you as like that's the reissue. It's like, if you're going to put out the reissue, then you're going to get compared against the best of the best, and that's how it works. You don't sit there and say, well, you can say a caveat and say, okay, well, they had the Artisan tape. That was the best they had to work with, but I've heard lots of people say that the Artisan sounds better. So I mean, for me, it's a fair fight, but it's not the best fight. This
guy, again, new channel, Normain Loof, said the Vertigo is bright. The U.S. Artisan was best to me than the Rhino.
So one advantage of recording these digitally is that I take the room out of the system, out of the mix. The room's not even a part of the equation. I use the same turntable, same everything, probably like one after another. I level match them, and so I can sit there and see the frequency chart. And in my mind, I mean, the laws of physics tell me that there is no way that the UK Vertigo is brighter than the Rhino. I mean, I can look and see that their frequencies are not there. So unless your house magically imparts plus 10K, plus 3 dB at 10K. I don't know. I just don't, Mazzy. Honestly, I mean, I just don't get it.
Are you saying old ears? Old ears
coming right now, so I think we're going to visit in a few seconds.
My ears probably drop off at 14K for God's sake. I mean, I don't have golden ears. Fuck no.
I'm not talking about your hearing. I'm talking about the other person here, his old ears, and the brightness is shrieking to him, He must clutch the Rhino Hi-Fi closer,
Oh, man. If that's not a call out, I don't know what is.
So someone said, are you saying you compared the rips and not the actual vinyl? Really? Yeah. I can still see the tonality, everything about it. I mean, the vinyl rips are probably 90 to 95% there. And if that's not good enough for some people, I don't care.
So Mazzy clarifies. He says, I think the
it's
Warner
good enough
was
for 15 years. So, yeah.
So, yeah, Mazzy says, I think the Warner was mastered better than the Vertigo. Subjective taste issue, but Patrick, the room and our ears are important.
I get that, but I mean, like I said, how can one person say it's rolled off, the Vertigo is rolled off, one person say it's bright, and yet the Rhino's perfect in both scenarios? I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, explain it to someone. Explain that to me.
So Tom keeps it real simple, and I like this. It says that the best sounding record is the record you've got.
If people love the Rhino, great. I'm happy for you. I mean, you're happy with it. But this is something, especially this album, this band, people are going to talk about. People have been waiting for this for fucking ever.
Well, which version is truest to the artist's intent?
Oh God, I knew it.
We haven't talked about that.
And hang on a second. And if the artisan tape is a copy of the Vertigo, then how does the artisan then magically have more high end than the Vertigo? I don't understand. So.
Oh no! How did this get back into? I mean, you knew it was only a matter of time before our friend, the jokester himself. Can you take a joke?
He gave it 11 out of 11.
No, actually, I believe it was one of his reviewers.
Okay, he gave it.
I think it was friend of the show, Dylan, the record spinner, who is a big fan of it. If I'm not mistaken, Dylan does good work. He's
okay. So he
on the pod before.
He gave it a 12 out of 10.
He gave it. I don't know if he gave it 12 out of 10. I'm not a math major. I don't know if that works.
Is that Mazzy back in the day? Who is that?
Oh no, John. We're just. It's like Beetlejuice. If you say Mazzy's name 3
times,
my
God, shit!
He's gonna come up here.
Is that Rorschach?
If I had seen that before, I would not have said that.
Well, John, this is why he gave it a 12 out of 10.
Harry, I'm trying to be funny. Oh well.
Clearly.
I just brought it down.
So the question I have, Patrick, for you is: now you've done your test. Jason's pretty on record of saying he's not married to his copy. Are you? Will we see this in the future Sunday auction on the All channel?
I'm not married to my copy either, so my copy will probably not stay in my house for long. So I will let somebody else who wants to enjoy it. I'm not going to charge $150 for it. That's for sure. So
fair enough. Then Nathaniel Mars says, and this I don't know what is it. Is this Unabomber font? I'm not sure what this font is. It says. But Michael Fremer says there are things that can't be measured.
This is serial killer font.
Right. Can you put this in a bathroom right there, like a bathroom stall?
Yeah, it has to be verbatim because this is monumental.
Daniel Mars is holding the album for hostage, and that's the ransom note. So.
Yeah, now, I saw someone made a comment about Mazzy having an afro. We're here to put this to rest. Mazzy says, quote, I never had an afro, end quote. So
that's my bad right there.
John, was that you? John?
That was me. It was my reference, I think, yeah.
Fair enough.
My bad. I retract my statement.
Fair enough. So Arnaldo was on a nice vacay with no record stores. John, what have you been up to? You've been MIA, as you said. You haven't been making as much content. With that child flipping you off during your walk and talk, did that really humble you?
It took me a moment. I mean, it was traumatic, especially when you're editing and you think you're in a safe zone. You're right here in your own little space, and you're typing and cutting and pasting, and you see somebody just go by and do this to you. Yeah,
Especially someone under what 13. Was this a young babe? Was this a young?
no,
young
I was kind of jealous because he had a nice full head of
Was
hair.
it Jack's
No
record
shirt
room? That
on.
kid that was at Jack's record room, whatever that kid's name is. Was it him?
Could have been. I think he was
There he is. There he is.
more around 17, but yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, John, don't let it discourage you because, part of the journey of the content creator on YouTube is you got to roll with the punches and you got to make some new friends and you got to make some new enemies and you got to make some new friends who are enemies. And it's quite the path eventually. Oh, now hang on.
So can I weigh in on the shitty reissue label real quick? Because somebody sent me this.
Of course. Hang on. Now we can do that, but we've got to bring the mayor of the vinyl community on Facebook up to the dais. And that is, it's tank season. Thank you very much. It's Wyoming Dave.
Hey, John, where'd your background go?
Hold on. We got a match, buddy. We got to match it up.
Oh no, this is listen. Oh, hang on. John, are you in Wyoming right now? What is that background?
Yeah, Dave, move over. You're ruining the whole effect. Get over by the.
I had a trailer with that paneling once.
Yeah. Well, Dave made the mistake of doing a video. And he got out and he went off screen, and I was like, "Screen parent, boom." Now I'm Dave's. Here I am.
Wow.
Right in Dave.
I'm sorry. How does that make you feel? I'm a therapist.
I get no respect. I get no respect by anyone around here.
Why does it smell like dead bodies in here, Dave? That's all I want to know.
That's weird, John.
But that's called a troll background.
Yeah, that's a troll background, Patrick.
I just wanted to.
John, is there formaldehyde in that closet? I need to know.
That's the only reason.
Are you tucking it, Dave? Are you tucking it? Are we doing this whole Buffalo Bill thing? What's going on?
No.
Well, Dave. Now that John has got it out of his system, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good.
Good. I appreciate your work. I saw in the gallery you were eliminate some of the pests, so I appreciate that. Some of the newest members of the Drink Bleach Society, we call them the DBS. Some say we call that douchebags for short, but it's
I have an idea who that might be, though.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. I mean, it's when you have a tiny weenie, you seem to want to be a real jerk. So, but thank you, Dave, for taking care of those jabronis. I appreciate it. Or jabroni. We'll let the gallery decide. So, Patrick.
Bad label.
I haven't talked to you in a hot minute. I know. I saw you briefly on the morning show. What's going on with you?
Let's see. I went to Tennessee, did some shopping there. Pros.
Oh, did any VC meetups while you were there?
In Tennessee? Did I meet anybody in Tennessee? No, I didn't. I don't think. No, one of my best friends. I did meet one of my closest friends. Is actually the CIO for Memphis vinyl pressing plant. So I went to the Memphis vinyl pressing plant, which is now the biggest capacity plant in America. They can do 125,000 a day. They got like 50 of these, 50 of those GZ machines that the GZ has put out. So they got like 50 of those suckers. Okay. So he gave me like a long tour of that facility and how everything was done, how they did the packaging. So probably about 2 hours. It was great. It was like really informative. I saw him doing the Miles Davis RSD mono reissue and some other stuff. So that was cool.
Do you, when you go through there, do you have to sign like an NDA or anything like that?
No, but he told me no pictures, and I said, "All right, man." But I did get to look at the lacquers for Led Zeppelin 1 and 3 that they were pressing. So he was talking, and he's a bass player, and I've known him since he was 15. We were 15. So he's a musician, but he says, "Well, I got to send these freaking test pressings to Jimmy Page. I got to send these test pressings to like Tom Along for Judas Priest. They do a lot of the legacy stuff that I'm not really a big fan of, but they do a lot. They press a lot of records, man. They were churning. But he said, even then they were only doing like 75,000 a day. They weren't even at full capacity.
So the next question I have is a really important one. How you answer? Oh, good.
Sorry to interrupt. Before you move on, Patrick, did you manage to catch a glimpse of those Led Zeppelin? Or are they just standard represses? Or?
They were just represses because I was like, "Oh, can I see those?" He's like, "Oh yeah, okay." I'm like looking at it. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for the dead wax." It's like, "All right." So yeah, they're just
because what I picked up on is he told you he had to send test pressings to Jimmy Page. Typically, the artist doesn't get test pressings unless it's a new cut, it's a new remaster or something.
I think
When
these might be the first time that their plant is pressing that.
probably, yeah. Usually a repress doesn't. Not every repress gets a test pressing and goes to the artist.
But yeah, so I don't know. He wasn't impressed with it, but I was. He was just like nonchalant, like, yeah, whatever, So
Just
but
another.
he's not an audiophile guy. He's a bass player. Come on. Sorry, Chase.
So Jimmy Page is going to be like, this sounds too bright.
Yeah.
So.
But
This
those
sounds too
GZ
bassy.
those GZ machines are really cool, man. Those things are really freaking cool. They literally suck up the pellets. It's like an automatic system. You just dial it up and they fucking just go to town, man. Very cool.
So the next question, Patrick, I have for you, the follow-up is non-vinyl. So this is Memphis, right? You said?
Yeah. I went to Memphis and Nashville.
Okay, so in the Memphis area, surely you got some barbecue. And if you did, where did you go?
Oh, I didn't have any good barbecue there, to be honest with you.
Well, I have a feeling because there's really only one correct answer, and that's Central Barbecue. What happens is people want to go to Rendezvous, which is a tourist scam. And I have to make sure that I'm at least doing my part as a contributing member in the community to tell that Central is where it's at. So you know memorable meals?
Probably the closest to decent barbecue was this place right off of Beale Street. The first, as you're coming down Beale Street on the left, it's like a little.
No, not the pig on Beale.
No, not the pig on Beale.
Okay, yeah, because that'll give you diarrhea. I'm just telling you.
So I was in Nashville. So Nashville, you would have liked this in Nashville. I went to the what's it fucking called?
Hades Hot Chicken.
They had the pressing plant. They had the
United.
No, they had the print. They had the print factory inside of the. I don't know, what the fuck was that place called? Anyway, it's where they printed all the handbills for the Ryman and stuff, and the wrestling stuff. So they had a bunch of old wrestling promo things. And I thought about you, I was like, boy, you would love this. So the guy.
So cool.
So the guy had a trivia question. He had a handbill from like the 60s, I guess. It said Angelo Poffo and his son, Leaping Lanny Poffo. And he goes, so does anybody know what's famous about that? And I'm like going, come on, dude.
That's layup city.
Yeah, it was.
Hang on a second. We've got a call from heaven, wrestling heaven. Hang on, line one, caller. How do you reply to that answer?
One day on, one to go.
Oh, I think that was the answer to the trivia.
Yeah. That's it, Mazzy. It was Hatch Print. So yeah, and that was actually really cool. I was kind of soft on going there, but it was actually really freaking cool. I enjoyed that a lot.
It sounds cool.
But yeah.
Hang on. We got some hot takes in the barbecue department, and now we're talking. Harmless Rebel Steve says, I thought Central was mediocre. Well, Steve, I'm going to follow up with you. What location did you go to? Because the location is important. Because once they start, there's multiple locations, and once you start going to some of the ones out and about, it can get a little soft. And the same goes for, I see Nathan Bouchard said, what was wrong with the pig on Beale? I would counter that and say, what's right with the pig on Beale? Because if you're on Beale Street to drink, and I'm sure it tastes really good, but there's more options. Oh, the one downtown? No, man. Hang on. Yeah, the one downtown by the Civil Rights Museum is very touristy. Like they have a patio. It's like where the young kids go to, say we had barbecue for lunch. You got to go inland. You got to go into like Memphis proper to the old location. It's a dump of a building, but man, that's where it started, and that's where I would recommend. So give them another shot. I don't get any kickbacks from them, but Central Barbecue, the OG. Anytime I travel,
it sounds to me like you're shilling for that barbecue place there.
No, I'm just saying. Because here's what happens: people are like, "Oh, I'm going to Memphis," and then they go down there and like, "Oh, I had some barbecue at Rendezvous." It's like, "Oh no." Like Rendezvous is such a tourist thing, and
I like how the vinegar barbecue sauce. It's different than here because we don't have to use vinegar and stuff, and they use more vinegar.
Sir, hello, sir. Can I help you?
I just wanted to thank you for breakfast. I don't know if I actually.
Here's Mazzy, where the laws of audio physics fail to exist.
Hey, listen, Mazzy was giving me a compliment. I got to take it. So thank you, Mazzy. I'm glad. It's my pleasure to treat you.
Thank you. I think I thanked you for breakfast.
You did. We're good. Yeah, no worries.
I wanted to thank Arnaldo and Walter for the hospitality last.
For the pancakes that you didn't eat.
Parts of Memphis are so unsafe that a friend of mine, a guy that I know, got decapitated recently in Memphis. And so,
What?
I'm sorry, what? Can you say
and
that part out
John-
loud again?
so this
John,
friend of mine who was
I had a semi mullet, but I had more of a Frampton, like a Frampton comes alive haircut, but it was straighter.
So more mullet than
Hang on,
Well,
Mazzy, I got to hear this. Patrick just said a man was decapitated. Did I hear that right, Patrick?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
So a friend of mine whose mom owned the rock club in Memphis called the Stage Stop, very famous venue. He was the DJ there. It's called Slick Rick. Apparently, maybe about 6 months ago, he was found decapitated. Probably a drug deal gone bad. But it made TMZ and everything because I was telling people about it. They're going, "Oh, I read that on TMZ." I'm going, "No fucking way." But I went and listened. Fuck it, it did make TMZ. But yeah, he was, he had his demons, but he didn't deserve to have his head cut off. But,
He probably thought the vertigo was too bright or something.
that doesn't mean your head's cut off. It means your ears need to be cut off.
That is exactly where I was going, Mazzy. Yeah.
I disagreed with both of you guys. I was like a whole different, you had number one, Mike Ingroove had one. I had a different number one, so it just kept changing.
Thor was not happy with Mike Ingroove today, so I can tell you that.
I hate to hear that. Were they at odds? I didn't catch the whole presentation today.
I think Thor felt that Mike was being a bit condescending. That's just I didn't get that impression. But
well, Mike is very well. I will if Mike's watching. The one thing that
Mike's not watching. Spoiler alert, Mazzy. He doesn't watch much.
Shouldn't have said when he first came on and goes, "Well, what's your system like? Do you have a Crosley?" That's like, come on.
Well, that's Hoffman Forum stuff. I did see that part.
Exactly.
That was like your buddy 427 shaming people. And that's what that was.
Yes, but
that's the whole typical thing. It's like, well, what are you listening to it on? So.
But I will, I've had this kind of conversation in the Hoffman forums with a lot of people who do not as well as you do, Patrick. And I appreciate what you do, but I've always had this thing like when people like start showing DR levels and graphs of like Jackson Pollock paintings of audio thing. And I think, in a vacuum, yes, that's how something is better or worse or more highs than the other. I understand that. And I know you don't mean it like this, but it comes out for people like you that say this. It's about your hearing and your gear in your room, and that is not a vacuum. That's where the record makes or breaks it. So whatever looks great or when they said the loudness wars, and yeah, a lot of shit was compressed as hell, but sometimes things sound so different like that. They do. So that's what
I rarely show graphs. I've never done a DR level in my life.
I know you haven't, but I'm throwing you in that community.
Level.
I'm throwing you in that because
but I will look at that stuff only on a rare occasion, like when we're talking about this stuff. When Mike and the In-Groove says the highs are rolled off, and you say it's fucking bright, then I'll get out the graph and go, okay, let's go look
interesting.
At that.
It is interesting. Yeah. I found it, and the thing is, I put on the Rhino here first when Rob and Rachel were here, and there's who else? Kimbo was here, or someone else was here, and they actually liked it. But when we put on the Artisan right after that, and this was on track, the side 2, the first track that's not on the Vertigo at all. I think that's the killer track that makes it a better record. But when the bass hit on the Artisan, it really kicked the Rhino up. I mean, the Rhino wasn't anywhere near as good on that track as the Artisan. The Artisan was fucking amazing.
Mazzy, why don't you like Kevin Gray?
I do like Kevin Gray.
I'm just messing with that. Yeah, I know.
Well, see, I like the Rhino television more than the OG, and I have an OG white label. I like the idea that the highs were kind of softened a little bit, that brights and whatever. It's funny because I said this thing. I got the new Tom Verlaine, the Real Gone that came out that on the instrumental album that came out in '93 on Royco disc as a CD, and the liner notes are by his partner, I guess girlfriend, whatever at the time, and talks about the only thing they did is they rolled off the high end a little bit for this vinyl version. And I kept thinking, oh my God, with all this talk about Artisan 10, Tom Verlaine liked it 30 years ago on the CD supposedly, and his girlfriend, the closest person to him, rolls it off for this, and the producer, the engineer, mastering engineer, rolls it off, and she admits that, writes it in the liner notes. I thought that was interesting. And it sounds really good. So anyone, I don't know if it's a digital, I think it's an analog cut, but that instrumental album that just came out last week is fantastic.
So on that topic, similarly, I read this today, and I think Mr. What was the gentleman's name? Esposito. He's French. Esposito. He's on the morning show. He's a young man, younger than me. He was talking about, I guess now, the Rhino Hi-Fi, the ones that can't sell, the dead dogs as we call them, they're going to sell them at retail. I mean, as something that was advertised originally as D2C only.
I thought they were all sold out because they were doing so well.
Well,
Oh, no.
Arnaldo, I'm going to start with you.
Three have sold out.
Arnaldo, I'm going to start with you on this one since you're our insider. When a strategy like this diversifies to clearly like help us sell these levels, I don't know if the retailers are jumping for joy. Like Esposito, I think was his name, was really saying what a great series it was, but yet it really felt like he was picking up the crumbs. How do you feel about this?
Well, I can tell. Well, it's better than taking the vinyl out and repackaging it in some other type of format, which sometimes labels do.
That's true. Rework, yep.
Yeah, they rework it because it costs too much to have the inventory sitting there in a warehouse. And if it's not moving, they'll do something, either they'll scrap it. That's why we used to have all of those cutouts back in the day, because it was cheaper to just sell them off at almost at cost.
Cost, right.
That's what cutouts were all about.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
The last of the pressing cut.
And they're making more money on this than they would if they cut it out. They're just
Their margin going directly D2C is much greater.
No, but even it's retailing it. It's a smart move.
Well, it depends. It depends on what they're going to do it at retail. Are they going to?
They're $40.
They're still going to be $40.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to get their normal wholesale price.
Well, yeah, they'll get their wholesale price for that.
And they'll make money on that
for that $40 price list, right?
Yeah.
They'll make less money, but
but it won't be sitting in the warehouse.
True, but what does it exactly mean? Does it really mean that if people aren't buying it from online, right? What is going to guarantee that they'll sell through in stores? The only saving grace is vinyl is one way in the United States.
Right.
So water pigs.
Well, didn't this happen with craft?
Didn't
this happen also with some of the craft single origin for a while? A few of things that didn't sell well have turned up in retailers. So I think it's a smart move for anybody. I mean, you're at BMG. Can you imagine, instead of like warehousing all this stuff, you want to get the product in stores one way or another, right?
True.
Right. So.
Right, but in terms of the way they're positioning this as a audiophile series and D2C, and I mean, it does kind of take some like luster off the shine.
Do you think actually
people
in the stores notice this stuff? Really? I mean, we're a small community, and the Hoffman is a small.
It can still be D2C diverted to consumer. So
yeah.
Diverted.
I don't think it's a big deal. If someone's going to like the title, I bet you there's a lot of people, they see it in the store, will have no idea this Rhino Hi-Fi or any of this stuff.
Exactly.
And us old people don't like buying stuff online. So I mean,
the olds are being called out right now. But here, this is called laying the thread and laying the groundwork. I asked the question because I think it's safe to say, and if you disagree with me on the dais, tell me. I think some of the titles have been a little less than inspired.
Yeah,
and clearly their sales show that.
Really? Well, Doobie Brothers? Van Morrison?
And
Van Morrison's excellent, by the way.
Yeah, and I think they've had what I would call a great moment with selling through and selling out of the Black Sabbath reviews being what they are. My fear is, and I think Chanstradamus will be proven correct on this, I have a feeling that they're probably not going to come with another strong title for July. Just a hunch.
I thought the Devo was great. I thought nobody's talking about the Devo, and I did.
The Devo was the biggest improvement on this release. That was way better than the original.
So it's easy to bag on the Black. I'm going to bag on the Black Sabbath, but I'm going to give him props for the Devo for sure.
But the point is still the same: is that how is the fatal flaw here the curation piece?
But look what happened. Look at the 30,000 Steely Dans that are sitting around still.
Well, no, that's fair point. Fair point.
I don't know if they're all pressed.
Yeah, but if you're charging $150 for that UHQR, it's like, I'm not fucking paying that shit.
So that might be they pressed too many, or they're Maybe they
They
have to
priced
for
it
that
too
for
high.
the
They
license.
priced it too high. You can say it's the licensing, but I mean, you can tell Donald Fagen, well, it's either this or nothing.
Right.
So, Jason, I'm gonna put you on the spot because you probably, if anyone, you've probably bought the most of these titles. At least I think you have. We talked about this briefly. If you were to give it a letter grade, because you used to be involved in education, what letter grade would you? Is that doxing? I'm not trying to dox you. I'm just sharing.
Oh, no, it's
friendly.
okay. I'll admit I used to be a math teacher. Go.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to dox you because that's apparently my name now. But no, the what letter grade would you give this series as what I would say a serious record collector? I mean, what letter grade would you give it?
Maybe like C-. They try. I bought some of the titles, and I even compared them. The Van Morrison was okay, but it was nothing special compared to the original, so I sold it. Some of the highlights, like the Cars' second record, actually beat the original second album. That was a surprise. The Grateful Dead actually sounded brighter than the original. That was actually a shocker. Wasn't expecting that. But then I wondered again whether the clarity is needed on an album that's supposed to sound like a down home record, So again, C-.
Okay, well, let's
Not
go around
bad.
the dais. Let's go around the dais. So, if you bought from this series, John, have you bought anything from the Hi-Fi series?
No, I haven't actually. No.
Okay, and I don't think Wyoming Dave has. So, Mazzy, I know you got some titles.
I bought 3 and I got 3 free.
Okay, so unabated letter grade. Give us
I
a
have
letter
2
grade.
grades. I say a B- for the content, a D for fulfillment.
Okay, elaborate on the fulfillment piece because I know
Well,
you and I.
I've been lucky. I haven't got any damaged records, but I've seen, the damage. And Harry Music Room just got his, and in a box with foam corners, perfect. But that's not everyone's not getting that. And I think
I got a great
Patrick Milligan, who I like and I've talked to with Kevin, made the mistake when they announced these last 2 on that Friday morning. He said, "Oh yeah, they're ready. They're in the warehouse. They're ready to ship tomorrow, Saturday." He shouldn't have said that because everyone expected them to go out like that, and they went out 10 days later or something. I don't know whatever.
So can I elaborate on that because Patrick, and this is not a shot, Patrick, but he said a couple things in these conversations. One was exactly what you said, ready to go. The other thing was about the packaging. He said this early on because one of the first
That they improved it.
Yeah, they improved it, but have they really? Because if that's the case,
Well,
there's no
have,
consistency.
Here's the problem. Whenever I bring this up on the stream, I get like I'm a shill for Rhino or protecting the man or whatever. But unfortunately, and I know the people at Rhino are extremely frustrated. The fulfillment house, first of all, is not just doing Rhino hi-fi. They're doing hundreds of thousands, and Arnaldo will probably know this better than anyone here. I don't know if they have their own and they don't share with BMG or Sony, but they're doing a shitload of labels or records. There's hundreds of thousands of records, so it's not just that. But having said that, I don't know why they have some point person there saying, "Look, this is our high-end product. These have to be a separate. We need some kind of manager, someone to handle this shit separately." And it's kind of like I never get Amazon problem shipping, but you hear all the time people getting shit ass stuff. It just depends on the day and which facility it comes from. And I think that's the problem that happened here. I'm not defending them, and I don't know why they can't have that connection, but they're so frustrated on that, and it's fucked up. I agree, it's totally fucked up.
But so here's my counter. Everything you said makes sense to me. 2 things. One, this is advertised as a D2C item until recently, until we were just talking about it. And it's kind of positioned as a special for the serious collector type thing, but it doesn't feel like the execution has been there. And at first, with the the mailers, you learn things, right? Like every release, we should be getting better. I don't get the sense here that there's improvement. And to your point, when Patrick
Right.
and Patrick, like where is the continuous improvement, to borrow an old
You're right.
manufacturer term?
What about the product itself? The covers, the pressings?
I mean, listen. If it was a dog, I wouldn't be buying it. I mean,
You're absolutely right about that.
They do well. They're doing well. What
That's why I gave it a D.
well,
That's
it
why I
doesn't
gave
feel
it a
like
D.
they're improving. Arnaldo, do you feel the same way? Like you got the Devo title, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was the one where I had the quality control issue with the vinyl. Otherwise, I've been pretty lucky. It's sad to say lucky because when you're talking about, the receiving and seeing everything that everyone else is posting about trashed record covers. I know, yeah, you don't play the record cover, but still, you expect to get a pristine record, right? If you buy any other item, just because it's a little bit more durable and more resistant, you want it to be in perfect working condition, right? And it takes away the collectability of this. But
Arnaldo, are you able to speak of the fulfillment situation? You don't have to get specific with you, but you work for a major label, and I don't know how many fulfillment houses you have around the country. But
hey, real quick, John, can you bend over further? I just want to see what your mother gave you. Thank you. Okay. Thanks,
I'm just how that works. Are there several around the country? How does that work?
Well, it's funny you say that. BMG shares the same distributor as Warner. It's called ADA. But the distributor is a DSD. It's called Direct Shot. And if I'm not mistaken, they handle a bunch of labels. And for example, when they ship to retail, they use totally different packaging. I think if I've sent any of you guys records, you've seen how they have like the boxed corners all the way around.
Right.
That's how typically they're shipped, because they're shipped in like 10, 15, 20 in a box, and they have to go to a retailer. And if they get damaged on the way to the retailer, they won't have any problem. The retailer sending it back to the label. So they make sure that those are shipped accurately. They obviously have a different distribution arm for the D2C website. Also because I know the shipping company and how they come, what location they come from, I can tell you if they're coming from a company like record label warehouse versus a D2C company. And when I get the shipping notification, I think ADA, which is a distributor of Warner and of BMG and many other labels, they distribute, I believe, from Tennessee somewhere. There's a warehouse in Tennessee, I think. And all of the Warner titles, the Rhino titles, from the D2C, they all come from the West Coast. So there's some other fulfillment center there, which is separate. And like Mazzy said, they may be handling different labels, different artist websites. Therefore, Rhino's not their priority, right? That's why you get people, the inconsistency of the mailers. I've seen the mailers with the styrofoam corners. I've seen the other types of mailers with the wing tips. And then I've seen, I don't know, the U-line they were using at the very beginning. So they're all over the place, which leads me to believe that they're not instructed, maybe, all these Rhino titles have to go in
it's not written at the spec. All they have to do is write this in the specification, and then they know source this from here. In a lot of cases, consistency.
Because they have so many of them that probably they're fulfilling for different D2C sites, like different artist sites, typically. Because
hey, real quick. So Shane, so not a lot. Some people may not know what D2C is. Arnaldo, can you give us just a quick
D2C, direct to consumer.
Yeah. So this means, Shane, this means that basically there's
We're skipping the middleman.
Right. You're cutting out the middleman, which is basically the
direct to
local.
you.
Right. And so it's from it's from the label in theory. Yeah, and it's basically drop shipping to you and taking
and the reason why they have to go through the D2C company is because the orders are not on volume. They're piecemeal. They're like 1, 2, 3 titles at a time.
Yep.
Whereas the official warehouse of Warner, they ship only to Target, Best Buy, Barnes & Noble, all of the indies, and they're shipping pallets and packages of like 15, 20 albums at a time. So they're not equipped to handle the piecemeal. Like, for example, whenever I receive something from my label, they'll send me one record in a huge box that is padded with the little pillows, and it has the boxed corners. Most of the time it arrives fine, but because they don't have those slim mailers, so it's a totally different fulfillment company.
So it's not fair to compare to like QRP or I'm not Chad, because
Right.
he can talk to the warehouse right there.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. He has control.
But he does it well. And I'm not dissing Chad, believe me, but he's the one. If he has a problem and he hears a problem, he walks over there and tell you guys are fucking up. You need to get this right. And obviously, same with Mike Ingroove or someone like that.
Yeah, well, it's the same way with some of our artists have websites that are administered either through Townsend. I don't know if you guys have ever purchased from Townsend Today, or I'm sorry, Music Today or Townsend. Those are the big artist website fulfillment.
Who's Gnarlywood? I get the Neil Young stuff from Gnarlywood.
Gnarlywood is WIA. It's the same as Warner. They all come from Gnarlywood. Okay. And if something happens to, for example, one of the BMG artists that are selling through Townsend, they don't come to BMG to complain. They complain to Townsend, whoever fulfilled the order. And if they got a damaged record, they either refund it or send another one or whatever, right? So the label is in a certain way detached from all the customer relations of the D2C, that whatever gets fulfilled from the D2C.
Makes sense. Hey, real quick, we're going to probably wrap up about 5 minutes here, but Steve makes a good point, because we haven't really talked about a lot about this on the channel, at least in our conversations. And that's another company, the label that's getting into this quote unquote premium space. And that's Interscope and their Interscope Record Club, which is kind of a Vinyl Me Please angle with also like premium packaging.
Isn't Interscope a big label? They used to be a big
label. No, they are. Yeah, but they're doing it themselves. Like they're kind of taking a page out of the Rhino thing. They're kind of taking a page out of Vinyl Me Please. And these are the growing pains. Steve says Interscope Record Club is doing much worse shipping wise. Killer titles, all have sold out, and all but 2 have arrived with some kind of damage. And I don't know, is anybody else, like I ordered the Dr. Dre, and it was handled so poorly, I dropped the club.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they claim they ship it. I couldn't find it. They delivered it to my neighbor. It was damaged. The mailers. It's a very similar journey to this Rhino thing. They launch it in a great idea, and they come out hot, but the mailers are trash. The customer service is non-existent. Like, it's a very similar story to the Rhino. Like, it took me 3 weeks before I got anyone talking seriously about replacements. And by then, magically, I don't know if you can believe this, it was sold out. So no replacements. So they didn't have any kind of backup sleeves, backup, you know what I mean? They had no safety stock for replacements. So it's a similar journey that Rhino, that we're kind of airing our grievances about the Rhino process. Interscope is just as guilty. And they're doing, like Steve says, the titles are great. They just did a helmet reissue. They did a 3LP Slim Shady alternate cover. So conceptually and curation wise, they're knocking it out of the park. Rhino, the curation, as we talked about, is a little hit or miss from a appetite of the record consumer, but similar journey. And you would think, not just from watching this stuff, but you would think without the customer service, I guess is what I'm trying to say, how are they going to improve any of this? And Rhino's customer service, pretty rough. Interscope customer service, even when I was dealing with them and I've heard since, pretty rough.
But have any of you, look, Rhino is one of the first, they've been doing this going back to direct to consumer from the CD era, Rhino Handmade. And even Rhino Handmade and all their direct website stuff, before this hi-fi stuff, I used to get stuff from them when if I ordered directly, everything was packed perfectly. I mean, I've never had any problems in the past with Rhino before these. I mean, I haven't.
Who remembers Dr. Rhino?
Well, it was a
whatever happened to him. He was the customer service.
Yeah. I remember I would get these personal. I remember getting the Warren Zevon album that Kevin Gray cut, and I had a little conversation with Kevin. I thought that was terrible, and I love the first Warren Zevon Asylum album, and for some reason
told him it was terrible.
This is from 2006 or whatever, and I remember buying it in a store. I wrote Dr. Rhino, and they got back to me like within 20 minutes. And of course, this is before the Rhino. The big record resurgence. And he goes, "Oh, send you another copy. I'll just give me your address." And it was the same. So I just didn't like the cut, and I really didn't realize. I don't know if he knew who Kevin Gray was then in 2005 or 6. And to this day, I can't stand that. And then the irony is that MoFi was going to do the first 2 Warren Zevon albums, and they ended up killing the first one, only doing Excitable Boy. And I wonder if there's an issue with the tape, because they had it all planned and advertised it for a year, and then they stopped. They decided not to do that first self-titled album. So I don't know.
Well, guys, I think we've beat up Rhino enough. I think they're taking a lot of shrapnel. I think in a few weeks they're really going to take some shrapnel. Chancellor feels it coming in his bones.
You know, the key to Rhino to come back is to make some beautiful boxes, right?
Oh no, here we go.
Just
Jason was showing
like
this before we went live.
Just like it was done back in the day, you know.
I think Jason's becoming my arch nemesis as well. So that's
you know.
That's beautiful.
This wonderful box.
Is that a wooden dowel?
Those kind of boxes are perfect for classical music, law libraries, and Britannica collections, but not for rock and roll albums, in my opinion.
You know, again, holy flex, right, Leland?
Holy flex.
Jimi Hendrix in a box like that is embarrassing.
So let me write this. Dear Dr. Rhino, please bring this back, right?
Well, we're going to end it with this. The legendary John Bandy says Rhino needs to be clued into this new thing called bubble wrap. Godspeed, John, because it's, forget those sexy air pillows, forget the little packing peanuts. Let's start with bubble wrap. If we could just wrap the vinyl community in bubble wrap, it'd just be a better thing.
The thing they did with the foam corners, they just did that with the cardboard egg things on top. That would be fine.
Beautiful.
Bubble wrap is too time consuming for those warehouses.
Well, that's why they went to air pillows. I mean, because our warehouse I used to work for back in the day, we were experimenting with the air pillows, and that's why Amazon, if you get the box and the record in the box, when they do a box in a box, yes. When they do a record in just
I'll send you some air pillows with Coffee Days special air inside.
The special air, the skunk air. Yeah, give me some of that skunk.
It's not skunk air. Trust me.
Anyway, well, I thank my guests. I want to thank everyone in the gallery. I think we had a very good conversation. I know we ran a little over. Again, it's great to have these conversations and have them in a civil way because, again, we're all record collectors and enthusiasts, and I think it's good to vet this out. So, again, thank my guests on the freestyle. I want to thank even the late additions. Wyoming Dave came in hot. He was really looking for blood from Music Talk with John. And then,
yeah, exactly.
And this young upstart channel, Normain Maislouv, came in.
Why don't you say Maslow? Because I don't like that Matt. That's already showing a killer. I will admit he shows the killer OGs there. I mean he holds them up forever until someone says something. You notice that?
That's right. You got it. Now right?
I know. I see what you do.
Yes, kick John
out. Flaunted, Jason. You got it flaunted. Yeah, I know.
Even John's got a UHQR. You know it's time to get off the UHQR train when Music Talk with John has one.
It's the end of the line right there, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. We'll do it again. Remember, we do this weekly. So next week is Spins Vinyl on the 1s and 2s, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take it easy, everybody. Be good.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.